Entertainment Podcast, everybody. I am your host, Martino, and we have some fun stuff to talk about today. A lot of great news. They have a new Skywalker tease for the Mandalorian Season 3. We'll definitely dive into that. We got some trailers, like a lot of trailers to talk about, so that should be really fun. Really looking forward to all of that. But sitting with me today, as always, guys, you know her, Miss Samee Ramirez. Samee, how you doing?
Hello. Doing good. Happy to be here as always. Hello.
Great, wonderful. Glad to have you, as always.
Hi.
And also, we have Mr. Cisco Scartozzi with us as well. Cisco, how you doing today, bud?
Thank you for that entrance music. I thought it was appropriate for me.
I
You know,
don't
like
know
a
why that popped up.
WWE wrestler.
I gotta figure that out.
But yeah, good to
What
be
a feel
back
at intro
again.
music.
Good to be back again. Man, plenty of trailers. So I'm not even gonna waste any more time. Let's just get into it, man.
Absolutely. And yeah, definitely excited to be here talking with everybody. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit that bell for notifications. Let's talk. What's been going on, guys? How are you guys doing? Did you watch any cool movies lately? Anything that you could talk about? What's going on? Anyone?
Vertigo.
Vertigo, right. Hitchcock. I watched
Great
a couple of
movie.
Hitchcocks too. But
Pretty good.
What'd you think?
Pretty
of
good for those who who haven't heard of this Hitchcock guy. He's kind of an indie director. No, but yeah, Vertigo's. It's not. I still think Rear Window is my favorite. It hasn't topped Rear Window, but I mean, it's still like some of the best, filmmaking, acting. You'll see. It had me like just. It's a real fucked up movie if you haven't seen Vertigo. I was thinking about it for like a day after. It's real fucked up.
I mean, if Hitchcock made something under the A24 banner, it'd be Vertigo
for sure.
Right.
That's a good description. That's Hitchcock's A24 film for sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
It feels
good description.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, 100%. I watched a couple cocks this weekend myself. Number one being
whoa.
Hey, whoa.
Number one being Suspicion. If you guys haven't seen Suspicion, you have to see Suspicion. Honestly, it's so good.
You've been on a Cox marathon lately, Tom.
I have been, dude. I can't get enough of it. So Suspicion is basically
I'm sorry, I'm a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's all right. We all so Suspicion is basically it's Cary Grant and god damn it, what's the actress's name? Somebody fact check me. You know what? You don't need to. I can Google it now, but
I got it right now.
Okay, thank you.
I'm pulling it up. Keep talking.
No, but she gets married to Cary Grant, and he's like, first of all, I'm sitting there
Joan Fontaine.
Joan Fontaine. Thank you. I knew it was a Fontaine. I had that name in my head. I couldn't remember the first name. But yeah, so Joan Fontaine. So she marries Cary Grant, and this is the dumbest thing that you could ever do anyway. But she knows him for like 2 weeks and just gets
married.
Yeah,
right.
Well, 2 weeks. if you only know him for 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, that's true though.
And
shotgun wedding for sure.
So of course he turns out to be a freaking lunatic. And like the whole time she's just like trying to figure out how the hell to get out of this marriage, because I guess it like was better seeing it how it was made in that time, just seeing how like divorce was such an uncommon thing, like so it made a lot more sense coming from the time period that it did. And so it's just a really great suspense thriller. And the second one I watched was The Trouble with Harry. If you haven't seen The Trouble with Harry, you should. This is it's Hitchcock's first attempt at comedy, and basically the trouble with Harry is that he just dies. Like this guy just accidentally shoots him while he's going hunting, and so there's this dead guy Harry just out in the middle of the forest. The whole freaking town is insane because they all just come walking by this dead body and look at it and go, "Oh, that's peculiar," and then they just keep walking. But I guess that's kind of the part of the comedy of it. But the I think he's a ship captain, is what, because they call him captain throughout the whole movie. The guy that accidentally shot Harry. And he's just like nervous like the whole time that somebody's gonna catch the body. Well, everybody in the whole neighborhood is walking in this spot again in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Just decides to walk in that spot that on that particular day, and nobody cares. So it's just like, why is he suspicious of it? But that's like part of the comedy. Like it feels very, like it's amazing. You should see it. It feels like almost like when Kubrick did comedy, like Doctor Strangelove, for example. So like how it's just like it's really kind of fucked up, and you shouldn't really be laughing at it, but there's just something funny about the
It's
way it's
dark,
executed.
yeah.
Dark humor for sure. I mean, the guy's dead, so but it's just a really great flick. I mean, I highly recommend it. And I remember, I mean, at the beginning, everybody in that town that it's based in is really unlikable. And I got to give Hitchcock props because he really makes them likable by the end of the movie, even though they're all doing something pretty freaking awful, which is trying to cover up a murder. So
Right.
it's a really fun time. Highly recommend The Trouble with Harry on top of
Yeah.
Suspicion. They're both really good.
I got a one more blind spot this
Yeah.
week that I had to, because like I said, I had to watch something I feel like I knew it would like because I've been having really bad luck with some of these watches. So I watched Mallrats for the first time, which is on Amazon Prime right now. So was Vertigo. You can catch both those on Amazon Prime right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's really good. It's I think it's one of Smith's best movies, honestly.
So you never saw Mallrats?
Never seen Mallrats before.
Wow. So yeah, I definitely gotta talk to you about Mallrats because I think Mallrats is one of his most underrated movies ever. Like it's got
no one talks about it really.
Yeah, it's insanely underrated and it's so funny. And I mean, you got first of all, Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker's hilarious in that.
Yeah. With the chocolate covered pretzel scene, it was so gross.
Sammy, that's what you still gotta watch, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, because diving into Kevin Smith the way you've been, or at least like Chasing Amy recently in your years.
I recommend it. I think you like it. Sam.
Yeah, you gotta see Mallrats. I'm telling you, it's so good. Check it out. Hilarious.
Ben Affleck's in it. Ben Affleck's in it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plays another dick. He did in the 90s.
Well, he's basically reprising his character from Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused. I was thinking that too. I was like, that's like they're around the same times, kind of basically the same character, just like a better dressed Dazed and Confused character in the mall.
Yeah. Well, he works for like a clothing store in there, right?
Yeah, like a high end like men's clothing store. Yeah.
Right. It's exactly. So I mean, it makes sense that he's like better dressed and all that, but yeah, he's completely a dick again, and he just all he does is threaten to beat up the main character throughout the whole movie. It's like his character
Jason Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Jason Lee was awesome in it though. He's so good.
He's great. Yeah, his first acting role. Didn't even like expect to like get the role. I mean, he was like a professional skateboarder at the time.
Yeah,
and
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, Kevin Smith was just like, oh, you're fun to hang out with, so I'm gonna hire you. It's like it worked out. Apparently the audition really sucked because he went for the other character, the other lead, when he did it, and he was like, no, let's make him the friend. He'll work as the friend better, and I think that was a good decision for sure. Yeah, Jason Lee's awesome in that movie.
Yeah, I mean all the comic book conversations, it's like stuff you think about when you're a kid for sure. Like the fucking Lois Lane's uterus could never handle Superman's baby.
Right.
So true.
Like, unless he was wearing a kryptonite condom, that never work. And like, does Mr. Fantastic, does every part of his body stretch? Or, like all those like just really perverted scenarios. It was really it's good.
My favorite rant in that movie is Jason Lee's escalator rant with the kid.
Oh yeah, the kid getting stuck in the escalator.
He's like, I hope that kid does bust his face on that escalator.
He was so upset about it. I know. He's like, what's up with you in the escalator? It's like every year doesn't go by, I don't hear a kid getting caught in the escalator. Yeah. Like it's pretty true. You should be. He's like, you need to respect the escalator.
Yeah.
It's basically like Clerks. It's basically like Clerks in a mall. It's like in a bigger budget.
Yeah,
so
it's got
Clerks.
Got a bigger cast, definitely on
bigger cast, bigger budget.
On a grander scale for sure. And I think it's one of Jay and Silent Bob's best like outings too.
Oh, I was gonna say that too. That was my two favorite roles was Jason Lee and Jay. I thought for sure was like it was hilarious in that.
I won't spoil it for Sammy, but the fucking Batman scene with Silent Bob is like Silent Bob. Incredible.
Nice.
There is that one part, and I guess I'll spoil this for Sammy just because I need to talk about it. Is the part where he's trying to use the Force, and he's like, "What's up with him?" And Jay's just like, "Motherfucker, watch Jedi again this weekend." He's trying
to make the cigarette move the whole movie. Like, it's a really good face acting from Kevin Smith, just like really the whole time.
Yeah, that's exactly why Silent Bob works. Is Kevin Smith does have the physical like face acting
comedy. Yeah,
this is a good segue though because I wanted to talk about this anyway. For the Masters of the Universe situation that's going on. Have you guys like looked into this at all? This whole
I know there's like a bunch of like incels and people that are mad and making a campaign against it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. That's essentially it. But the problem is something that I wanted to bring. I haven't seen the show, so it could completely suck. I don't know. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But it's the subject that people are bitching about. Are you guys gonna watch the show? Because there's a big spoiler here.
I pretty much know it just from people complaining about it, so you can.
Okay, Sammy, you did plan to watch it?
No, go for it.
All right, because this is a big spoiler, and this is what everybody's bitching about, and I need to address this because it seems to be happening continuously over and over and over again. I don't understand why. So I don't know. Like I said, the show could suck, and that's fine. But the reason that people are up in arms, yelling and screaming, and this is what I fucking hate, is because apparently at the end of the show, He-Man sacrifices himself for the greater good and dies. That's what everybody's mentioning about, yelling and screaming about. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Because it certainly does to me. Now, Cisco, given your Bruce Willis argument in Glass, he didn't sacrifice himself for the greater good. It's a different thing. Yeah. And you're not sitting here yelling and screaming like a 12-year-old about it. So, my point is why does this fucking happen? Why don't people like when their heroes sacrifice themselves to die? It adds stakes to your story, even if it's a big character. It's a different take. The people just need to shut the fuck up. It's getting ridiculous. And
I mean, if Indiana Jones does that in the new Indiana Jones movie, I wouldn't mind. Like,
me either.
Like,
I wouldn't.
He's fucking. He's old as hell. Like, what do you expect him to keep doing this forever? Like,
yeah. If you have criticisms about a show or something like that, that's fine. But we can't keep getting mad when heroes die. It just happens. And this seems to be a constant trend.
I think it's new Hollywood. Like, they always play it safe. You can't kill off any good characters right now. Yeah. So like maybe people are just used to like not seeing that. But I mean, that's something they have every right to do that. And I'm with you. I think it adds more stakes to it if people die that are on the good side.
Yeah.
Like otherwise it's like the Marvel thing where it's like characters can't die or they come back, or you know what I mean? Like characters can never really die. Then it's like, well, I don't care. I don't feel anything now because I know all of my characters are going to be safe at the end, you know?
Yeah.
But characters should be dying. Characters, I mean, if it's a high stakes scenario, you know, someone's out of their element, then yeah, people should be dying. It's exactly. I mean, you could argue it's a movie, sure, and like there's certain movies where characters not dying does make sense, sure, but then there's other ones where it's like, you know, people should die. There should be some kind of sacrifice or, you know, payoff in that way. So I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of good movies you can point out where people, the main characters die at the end, and they're great movies.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
The only one that seems to get a pass on it is Marvel. Black Widow died to sacrifice herself, and like nobody bitched about that. Not sure why. They're the only ones that got a pass. Tony Stark died to save, you know, like. But everybody else who tries this, it seems like with some iconic character, then it's apparently a big problem. Like I'm not trying to like, you know, re-stir an old pot. I don't know if that's a good expression or not, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bring up old shit again. I'm saying, but it seems to be a problem here again. And like I said, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know. But if that's what it just seems to be the thing everybody's bringing up about it, and it's like that can't be the problem with the show. I mean, that's not a problem with something. People are confusing a story beat with, as you know, for a problem with something. You know, now you could say like, well, I thought, you know, the way it was executed, maybe he could have shot around it better. That's a fair point. That's a valid argument. But you know, when you're looking at like the fact that they're taking the fact that somebody died and sacrificed themselves, a hero, mind you, which is what they're supposed to do, is you know, do whatever it takes to, make sure humanity is alive and saved. I don't care how fucking muscular they are. I don't care if they're Dwayne the Rock fucking Johnson or Vin Diesel for that matter. I know Vin Diesel's never.
Oh, they're
gonna
never
die.
gonna die.
I know they're never gonna die in movies. But I'm saying, like, if they do, I'd be like, well, shit, that's awesome. They took a risk. It wouldn't be something.
Well, that's
to
my
yell and
problem
scream
with
about.
Han. Han
Right.
did die, and then they
I
messed
agree.
that shit up because
100%.
now he's back. So it's the same problem in multiple. It's not just MCU. It's like multiple franchises make this mistake.
Right.
Chewie's gonna die for 30 seconds, and then no, wait, he's Chewie. We can't kill him.
Right.
It's like I hate it.
I wonder.
I hate it so much.
I wonder if 20 movies down the line in the MCU, Black Widow and Tony Stark don't come back, if people are gonna get mad then. You know what I mean? Because I think that people just expect those characters to come back somehow for some reason. But I don't know, Sammy, what do you make of all this? You usually give a pretty good middle ground on stuff on these topics.
I'm kind of like, you do whatever you want, man. I'm like, it's true though that like it's not an issue. It's not an issue with the thing because you don't like the way it ended. Like, you can have that critique, but that doesn't mean it's bad because you don't like the way it ended. Yeah, that's the main point. Other than that, do whatever you want,
like,
bro.
There's absolutely bad endings, but like I don't like that fans take things into their own hands and are like, we get to decide what happens.
Exactly.
Like, the writers don't get to decide, the filmmakers don't get to decide. Again, the He-Man, Masters of the Universe, whatever the hell, could completely suck. It could completely shit the bed. I haven't seen it. It might be horrible, but I'm just saying that's the only criticism I've heard, and it doesn't seem like a valid criticism against something, and it just seems to be happening repeatedly anymore. And it's upsetting as hell. I don't understand. Like, I mean,
and there's a lot of people that don't like Kevin Smith. I think that's another underrated element to why the bad publicity. I feel like there's a lot of people just love shitting on Kevin Smith. I never understand why.
True.
But I feel like that there's to me there's an undercurrent of people being really nasty.
Oh, true.
Because it's Kevin Smith too. But it's not just the ending, and I haven't seen that. It's like, this is the worst fucking show ever, that type of stuff. Fuck this show and blah blah blah.
It's true, 100%. But I've also seen a lot of the people that are hardcore work Kevin Smith can do no wrong get mad about this too, and that's upsetting as well. I mean, people liked Rian Johnson before he killed Luke Skywalker. Let's not forget that. You know what I mean? And they turned on him after that, and it's like, well, what the hell, So it's so irritating to continuously see over and over and over again. I understand there are fair critiques against The Last Jedi. I'll use that as an example for that reason, because there are very fair critiques that you can have against that movie. But all I fucking heard about for the 5 weeks after that movie came out was, fucking Luke Skywalker died. Bring him back. You shouldn't have killed Luke Skywalker. You had no right to do it. It's like, he's old as fuck, dude. He's gonna die.
They kill off the whole original cast in the new ones. So I don't get why people are mad about that.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't really get it. Yeah, I don't know. It's shitty. It's shitty as hell, and I don't get it either. It's a very odd thing that's happened. It's like, I want to ask these people if they've ever seen a movie in the 70s where everybody died in the 70s. I feel like it was a big trend in the 70s that your main character was probably gonna die at the end of the movie because we're the 70s and we take risks and shit.
Yeah, it was a different time. Movie studios were desperate at that time. Yeah, they were taking in any and all stories, and a lot of the young filmmakers at the time were influenced by the European style of dark and these different type of stories. So then that came over here, and that we're just not in that space anymore. Now it's IP universe. So,
right, but and people don't realize that a lot of these auteurs that come into the studio space are mostly inspired by the films of the 70s, the 60s, things where people actually died and shit. Yeah. And Kevin Smith, call him an auteur, don't call him an auteur, I don't care. But I'm saying that he's one of these guys that, he plays by his own rules. He's said it interviews multiple times. I don't make shit for the fans, I make shit for me now. I started to care a little bit less about what the fans wanted, and just did what I thought.
You should feel that way. You start making stuff for fans, you're gonna play it safe every time.
Yeah.
That's what the studios, I feel like that's the main problem I have nowadays. Everything is so safe and
I agree
sanitized
with
and
you.
setting up the sequel. And I mean, we can talk, this is a good transition, I guess, now
Sure.
to talk about the Ghostbusters trailer. Because speaking of IP, this is like the second attempt to bring back Ghostbusters.
Right.
Not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying like that's a fact. And we're getting and then at the end you have the Dan Aykroyd tease, that you got to bring in the old cast to the new cast, and what if he dies in it? You know what I mean? Are people going to be upset about that?
Somebody's probably going to die in this one.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just letting everybody know right now. It's Jason Reitman, who is an auteur and does, I somebody will probably die in this movie. And which, by the way, I love this trailer. I want to throw that out there right now.
It was a pretty good trailer.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm calling this the Sorry About That Other Thing trailer. Like it was so damn good. I mean, because this one, I like that they're treating it as big as it should be. It feels like the studio knows that this is a massive property. Like we could really, because if you saw the trailers for the 2016 one, if you like that movie, that's fine. I like Paul Feig.
I didn't get the whole hate for that movie either, though.
I don't think it's as bad as like other people.
Me neither, but people, if you ask anybody or you look at the comments, it's like the worst movie of all time. It's how people talk about it. It's like, or worst comedy or worst sequel reboot, and I'm like, I mean, I would have watched this over like Snake Eyes,
right?
The new, I'd rather watch 2016 Ghostbusters over any of the GI Joes.
No, I mean,
any day.
Yeah, Paul Feig's a really talented director. I just think he missed a little bit on that one. That's all. I don't think it's like the biggest piece of shit in the world.
But people were treating Ghostbusters like it's like sacred. I'm like, it's a good 80s flick, but it's not Jaws. It's not, Raiders. It's not, I don't know.
Well, they pretended like the 2016 version was the first bad Ghostbusters. And let's
exactly. I'm like, Ghostbusters 2 isn't that great either.
Come on.
So
they reacted to it in that way. Like this was the first misstep in the franchise. And clearly,
I remember Screen Junkies. You remember that? Screen Junkies, like most disliked video was them saying it wasn't that bad. Like the trailer wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's crazy, dude. I mean, that could be the same incels probably, mad about Masters of the Universe. Like, oh, women cast, no.
Right. Yeah, well, that was the problem with the 2016 version is people were just prepared to hate it, because they don't like women or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a bad movie. It's just
it's not.
It's
just not. It's not like great. It's like, well, whatever. It's like how many like okay comedies do you see a year? You know what I mean? Just because it's Ghostbusters, it makes it worse. I never got it. I don't know. But like, I don't know. To bring it to this trailer though, exactly. I liked it. Like, I mean, Paul Rudd and like you said, Reitman doing this too. We talked about him before on the show, like how we're both fans of him and all of us are fans of him. And I mean, it looks like it's gonna have better effects. Obviously it's 2021. And they're bringing in like kids to it too, like so I don't know. Right. I'm ready to see it, like despite all of us talking about like the IP thing. This is just what it is now. Everything has to have a old cast, old movie attached to it. That's just what it is now. So I always go into it hoping it's good. That's my, what I mean? I never want to go into it hating it, but
you're right. Well,
I just think it's interesting. It's an interesting example of what we're talking about.
Right. Well, I was even surprised that they showed an actual ghost in this, which given it's not like a Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd reveal, but they showed like one of the actual ghosts in this, and it looks really good. It looks like a proper update.
Pretty good. That's what I'm saying. The effects, look pretty good.
Yeah, it didn't look. That was another thing about the 2016 one was where it was like overly CGI'd.
I'll say that sure. that was an issue.
This didn't look that way. This looked like we want to just kind of take from the original and just improve it, you know what I mean, a little bit. And so I thought it looked really, really nice. And the trailer, like I said, they really are making this feel epic. I hope the movie delivers the same way that the trailer has been, because I mean or both trailers I should say, because both have been really good in my opinion. But I mean, I don't have any distrust in Jason Reitman. His father directed the first film. It doesn't mean he's going to do well with this. It just, it's a good sign, for sure. Sammy, what'd you think?
I really like this trailer. I, again, really like Jason Reitman. Paul Rudd looked great in this movie. Excited about that.
Like his
We
performance,
love to see it.
or Paul
Both,
Rudd,
all of it,
Daddy
all
Rudd,
of it. Just
Daddy Rudd
Paul
was doing it for
Rudd,
you.
just all of him, just all of him, just Paul Rudd, man.
Okay.
We love to see it. We love him. And yeah, I mean, I love all the kids and everything too. And this looks like it could be fun. I'm not a big fan
Finn
of the
Wolfhard.
2016 one. Finn Wolfhard. I'm not gonna say looking great because he's a child, but he's a great performer. We love to see him getting jobs, getting them paychecks.
You need a rebellious kid in your horror movie. You call Finn Wolfhard.
You call Finn Wolfhard. If you need a girl, if you need a spunky girl too, you call, what's her name, McKenna Grace, the blonde girl.
There's like her. The two that you see in every single one, but I'm like, hey, yes. I mean, they given their resume, you can't really blame them,
Right.
Yeah.
So I forgot what I was gonna say. I ain't scared of no ghost. I'll say that.
Scared of no ghost.
I mean, Finn Wolfhard is incredibly great. I mean, obviously, and he's got this weird thing going on with his hair in this one, but whatever. It's fine. I mean, it looks
the 80s, right? Is this in the 80s?
I don't think it's supposed to be. I think this is supposed to be
modern day.
Stranger Things is, but not.
Yeah,
it's modern day.
And the It movies are like older. Yeah,
so I can't blame it on the era.
Finn Wolfhard can't do everything in the 80s, right? Like he's got to have some like.
He's trying
limitations.
He's trying.
Right. I'm always scared for that kid that he's gonna get typecast. You know what I mean? Like I did love him in both Stranger Things and It. Like I think he's great in both things, but like
he's gonna have to do pretty soon. He's gonna have to do like a super hardcore like drug addict role and break out of the kid thing.
Right.
That's like the shortcut. That's what kid actors. Yeah,
he's
kid actors.
He's heading there, man.
He's at that age where he could start doing something like that. I don't think he'll get his Chalamet moment though. As I like to call it, where they're like, well, speaking of Chalamet, you gotta talk about the Dune trailer.
Dune, man.
Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean this looks incredible. I mean, without a doubt, this trailer impressed the hell out of me. Not only because it was such a lengthy trailer, it was a long trailer, like for sure. Like this is longer than most trailers, but I assume that the movie's probably going to be 2.5 to 3 hours long, right? Like I would just, I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that based on Villeneuve's
most
work.
of Villeneuve's,
and Blade Runner 2049 was like closer to 3 hours, so 245, right? Somewhere in that range. I think so. Yeah, so I'm gonna go out on a whim and say this is gonna be that. I don't even care it's gonna be that long, honestly. I think that this looks like such an epic movie, and it looks like, pardon me for saying that, it looks better than the new Star Wars movies, and it has a lower budget than those, and that just speaks to a good eye behind the camera. I think, is Robert Deakins doing the cinematography here? Does anybody know that for a fact?
He did it for 49.
Yeah, I know he definitely did for 49. He probably is doing it here because it looks like something he would do. But it looks like adult Star Wars, and this is how Dune has always been pitched to me. I've started reading the book. I'm about 4 chapters in. I was
just gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen the movies or read the book, the original, or read the book?
Believe it or not, that's one David Lynch I have not seen as the original Dune.
I'm probably gonna watch it before seeing the new one.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if I'll buy it. I hear it's a bad Lynch movie. So I don't know.
Me too.
I like his good stuff for sure.
I know it's just coming out on 4K though, or something, right? There's a new edition coming out.
That's right. Which they should. I mean, it's a really smart move. For us.
How long is the book?
Media collectors.
I'm like debating whether I should try and
read
long.
It's a big ass book. It's a big ass book.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have time then.
Like 600 pages, maybe.
Shit. It's huge.
500, 600.
I want to read the book. I might cram through it, but then again, I just bought 3 new High Republic books today, and I gotta get through. So I don't know. I mean,
you have December until December.
Yeah, that's true. It's doable. No, October right now. It's October now. I thought.
Oh, is it October?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh October. Man, get to reading.
So we're coming down to the wire. For
you gotta get to reading, man.
Yeah, but this cast looks incredible. I mean, honestly, Zendaya's in there. You won me over there. Chalamet, you won me over there. Brolin, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Batista,
Rebecca Ferguson.
There's really, I haven't seen such a stacked cast for anything. I don't think, like, not a cast this good that like I'm like. major fans of everybody in here, and that's
Yeah.
really
Right.
cool. Also, I've never seen Sammy and mine's heartthrobs come into one movie, so that's really a revelation right
this
there.
is lovely.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
You know,
who's your heart?
come on.
Zendaya?
You kidding me?
Zendaya.
Oh, okay.
Is this news
I
to
didn't-
you?
I also have a crush.
I didn't know you had
on
like a
Zendaya.
crush. I
Come
know you
on,
liked her in
man.
Malcolm and Marie. I didn't know you liked her like that.
Oh, she's something, man. She's
So
and
that's why you
one.
like that movie. That makes sense now.
I'm not saying it doesn't play
It
a
all
part.
clicks
I'm not
now.
saying it doesn't play
Right.
a part. But yeah, I still stand by that film. I think it's great. But
Damn, this is a long trailer, dude. I've been playing it just in the background the whole time I've been talking.
Mhm.
It's still playing. It is a long
it's
trailer.
one of the longest trailers I've ever seen, and that's okay because I was entertained the entire time. I think it definitely
That maybe speaks to maybe it might be a long movie too, though.
I think it is going to be because I don't think they would have put out a trailer this long had it not been.
Whoa, hold on! I just seen somebody in the cast. Javier Bardem's in it.
That's right, Javier Bardem. I knew that, and I forgot because this cast is so stacked. It's easy to forget people like that.
He's like the last name on there though, so it's probably not a big part. But yeah, I did not even know Javier Bardem's
it's
in there.
Javier Bardem. I'm down, man. Like, let's see some Javier. Give me Javier, man. He's the best part of Mother. And
do you know? Does it say who did cinematography?
Oh,
director of photography.
While we're on it. But Sammy, what'd you think? What'd you think?
Oh, I agree with everything that's been said so far. I'm really excited for this. Yeah. I don't have that much more to say other than what you guys have said, but
so it's not Deacons.
I'm hyped.
It's not. Who is it?
It's Greg Fraser, who did Rogue One and Zero Dark Theater and 30 and Mandalorian. He's done a couple Mandalorian.
Oh, well, that makes sense too. Actually,
all right.
Now that you say that, it makes a lot of sense. It does look better than the new Star Wars movies, though, just based on this visuals and the trailer. Like,
I mean, Rogue One's like the best looking if we're keeping it real. So that's.
I'd still go Last Jedi. That's okay. We could disagree.
I said one of the best looking. I said
one of the best. Fair enough.
Yeah, that beach scene alone. I mean.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you there. It's a beautiful ass movie. When you said Rogue One, it made sense to me that this looks so good. He's probably going to be doing the Andor series, if I'm not mistaken, too. This guy, so that's exciting. But and speaking of, I mean, so did you have anything else to add about the trailer, Cisco? Because I was going to move on to Mandalorian.
No, that was we covered it.
Great.
Much, yeah.
All right, yeah, because like Mandalorian, this is interesting, guys. I mean. So the main topic, I always like to try to start with those, but it's all right. We'll just go with the conversation. But the main topic here, I think, being the Mandalorian little tease that we got going on here, which was really interesting considering I don't think the Mandalorian's due out till, it doesn't have an official date, but I don't think it's due out till at least April. I'm pretty sure that's been said. So I'm sure you guys got to look at the poster. We got Grogu and Luke Skywalker building the lightsaber. This is something that passed through Disney. I mean, it's going to be sold at Comic-Con and shit. I mean, this is a real thing. I don't know. I mean, first of all, are they going to continue this deep fake Luke Skywalker? Because I was going to say a lot of people off.
I think
what is that? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like,
secondly, I hope they improve it. Now, the other thing that makes me think that this is like a legitimate tease for sure is the fact that, and we didn't cover this last week. We probably should have, because I'm sure you guys saw the Sammy, I know you at least probably watched the Disney Gallery for season 2, this last one that came out. There's a lot of people, myself included, were really like, what the fuck? They didn't do Luke Skywalker, the episode, the finale. They didn't talk about that in the gallery at all, the finale. Of it, and everybody was like, why wouldn't they include that? Obviously we want to know how they pulled that off because it was such a great action-packed thing. And so they're going to be doing a separate gallery coming up here soon, which is just an episode about the finale. And like one of the taglines that they're using is Luke Skywalker's coming August such and such. So I almost wonder if we're going to get more of a reveal of what the future's going to be in that. Based on, just the fact that they're using that tagline. But anyway, back to this poster. First of all, if they use Luke Skywalker, when it comes to the story, it does make the most sense. So you can keep Grogu in the show. But on the other hand, there was a big uprising about the way Luke Skywalker looked. So I'm kind of wondering, how are they going to do this with keeping everybody happy? I mean, obviously they do have an opportunity to improve the technology, but it makes me wonder in my mind, can you improve it that much to where we just buy it? You know what I mean? If he's going to be like a big part of the series. But do you guys think that this is an indicator that he is going to be a big part? I mean, I'll go to Samee.
I don't necessarily think a big part. I think they might touch up some of the CGI for Luke, but I don't see it being that much of an improvement. I mean, I would like it to be, you know, an actor, or I would like it to be Sebastian Stan, but any actor would work for me. You know, I think the show will probably, I don't know, I'm thinking it probably starts with Grogu being trained by Luke, being get a little bit of that, but then I mean, after the season 2 finale, I was like, I don't think he's gonna stay with Luke for that long. I don't think so.
Well, like
I think for a little bit, and then Grogu will come back with Mando, is my theory.
Well, I'll take it to Cisco here. Like, my question there would be, how else do you incorporate Grogu? Like, I know Sammy's saying that she doesn't think he's going to be there that long, but I mean, like, what I mean, we can only speculate at this point, obviously, but like, what in the hell would happen to where he didn't stay with Luke that long? You know, would Mando go and steal him back? Like, it just, I'm trying to add this up in my head and calculate how they're going to do this. It's a big mystery, and obviously all we can do is speculate. But do you think that, kind of the same question, Cisco, do you think it's like a big indicator that like Luke's going to be a big part of this, or what do you got?
I hope not. I hope it's just like a poster, because that deepfake, was terrible. It's like, it was the laughing stock of the internet for like a long time after that, and ruined a perfectly fine finale, in my opinion, where you didn't need Luke Skywalker at all in the story. But we always have to tie it back to the Skywalker. So, I mean, it's tying it back to what we said at the beginning. Do we need Luke in this? Does Grogu even need to be in this? Like, he's a cool character. He's like, but he's a baby that can't talk. Like, how deep are we going to get into that character? You know what I mean? The show, he's cute.
I think pretty deep.
We got 2 seasons of it. I mean, so do you want the Luke in? I mean, it's called The Mandalorian. It's not called Baby Yoda or Grogu or Luke. The Luke Skywalker saga with Grogu. It's like, it's The Mandalorian. It's his, you know, his series of adventures. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd be fine if it was just Mandalorian and we didn't have to keep going back to whatever's most popular.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what this poster means, honestly. Could just be a cool poster that they design because people like both of those characters. Who knows?
Sure.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind if Luke or Grogu weren't in it moving forward at all. So, because like, it looked horrible, the Luke thing. So I don't know how they reckon with that for a whole season. If he was going to be like a main character, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know how they do that.
Well, I mean, I'll come into this from 3 different angles here. Number 1 being the canon junkie on the show today. Number 2 being the one guy that wasn't as bothered by the deepfake as a lot of other people. Number 3 being the guy whose favorite character is Luke Skywalker in probably all of film history. So, number 1, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Cisco, on the sense that I don't want this to become the Luke Skywalker Grogu show. Like, I do not by any means want that. I think a lot of the magic of the Mandalorian and the charm did have to do with the fact that it, for the longest time, had nothing to do with the Skywalkers, you know. And not that it is going to now, per se, but the one thing I would throw out there is, to respond to your other point, I think when you're setting up the fact that this kid's going to reach out to a Jedi's going to come find him, it did make the most sense to make it Luke. Did they have to do the deep fake? No, they didn't have to do the deep fake. Was I as bothered as the rest of the world? No. But
Sebastian Stan could have been Stan.
That's what I'm saying.
Sebastian Stan or nothing.
Yeah, and if it was Sebastian Stan, I would have been fine with that too. Like, you know what I mean? I would have been none the wiser, of course. So I would have just been like, okay, this is where we're going. Makes more sense. But either way, no, I mean, I honestly am not nearly as bothered by the deepfake myself. That doesn't mean the rest of the world isn't, and I understand the complaints.
You can find like better ones on YouTube, which is like, Disney's how rich of a company that should never have been. You should never say that YouTube can do it better than Disney. Never be able to say that. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just it's very, I don't know. It's complicated because like I'm with you on a lot of angles, but I also, in my mind, from a narrative standpoint, and not that, I mean, they've managed to surprise me before in these things, but from a narrative standpoint, I don't really see how else you move on without Luke Skywalker being some kind of part of this, because we need to have Grogu. We don't need to have Grogu, but they're gonna have Grogu. Like, it's unavoidable. He's gonna be a part of the show. He brings in the big bucks, so they're gonna want to use him. The only way to do that is Luke Skywalker. And the other thing that's happening in this poster is not only are they sitting there together, they're building a lightsaber together. That's like a thing. If you ask me, that's a thing. That's a narrative thing that's going to happen in the show at some point in time. They wouldn't have put it out there otherwise, I don't think. They wouldn't have approved it. I'm sure somebody at Disney got pissed off about this too. Don't get me wrong, because this leaked before the event even happened. Somehow this got out, but so I don't know. But either way, I think it's pretty cool. It's a cool poster. It's one I definitely hang on my wall.
Cool poster.
It's a cool poster without a doubt.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with the poster. I don't know. It's just interesting that they chose to be like, all right, we're gonna put this out now. But in any case, I mean, there's we got a lot of trailers to talk about, and I mean, this isn't the best segue in the world, but Star Wars, Oscar Isaac, Dune, Oscar Isaac. Let's talk about the card counter, because honestly, this trailer really blew my mind. In a way that, like, this is the type of role that I've always wanted to see Oscar Isaac do. He's definitely like playing like a harder edge character, and I think that that's something he hasn't really done yet. I mean, he's definitely played characters that are edgier than Poe Dameron, without a doubt, but he's never been like this edgy, like criminal edgy, I don't think. I mean, Triple Frontier, you can make an argument, that he was definitely doing illegal things, but he was doing illegal things for like the good of people. And like, this seems like a really fucking selfish character. And like, he's never really gone that route to my knowledge. I haven't seen anything with him in it where he's gone that like really selfish character route. And I think the dude's remarkably talented. And you got Paul Schrader directing, so that's really fascinating. I don't know. I'll take it to Samee. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I really like this trailer. Again, it seemed really cool. I like the vibe. I love Oscar Isaac. This seems like a great role for him. Yeah, again, don't have that much. It's a Scorsese movie. I'm excited to watch it. Yeah, it was a great trailer.
Well, it's
Paul
a Scorsese presented movie.
Yeah.
Paul Schrader
produced.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Anyway, Cisco, go ahead. You sound like you were gonna jump in there.
No, yeah, I just wanted, because that it does say
Right,
like
yeah.
Scorsese's whatever.
Produced.
But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of underwhelmed by the trailer, honestly. Like, just because I've heard like this has been a really highly anticipated movie for people, and this is the first time we've seen the trailer. Like, what's her name as the female lead?
Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah. I don't know why she's in this thing. Like, as soon as
She
could be good. She seemed fine.
As soon as she popped up in this. I
She
mean, you're
didn't
talking
bother
about when has he ever played a selfish character? When has Tiffany Haddish ever played serious before? You know what I mean? Like,
Until now.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's like Oscar Isaac has never played a selfish character. That's why I'm excited. And kind of the same for Tiffany Haddish. Like, I
disagree with that. Honestly.
I never saw her play this role.
I think he's played a number of roles that are like inside Llewyn Davis. He's pretty selfish.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, but he's not like a criminal either. He's like, I don't know.
A Most Violent Year. I'm like,
I haven't seen it. I want to see it because it's from the director of Triple Frontier. So it's one I want to watch. It's on my list. So granted, I mean, I haven't seen it, but.
So I feel like Oscar Isaac, yeah, he's one of the best actors like today, but like she kind of brought it down for me. I thought like the tone, I wasn't really sure like what they were kind of go for. Like, yeah, I was like serious, but I was like, so he's a card counter. Like, what else? Like, I already knew that from the plot description. Like, what else is there to be excited about? Like, what's what with Willem Dafoe in this thing? I just really didn't get a lot of info, and I mean, I don't like, it's a trailer, so it's not like I'm not gonna like automatically put this off like seeing it or something, anything like that. But and then that other kid too, like that was in Ready Player One.
Ty Sheridan. He's an underwhelming actor to me, for sure.
Another one.
The
combo between Tiffany Haddish and him, I'm like, oh man, I did not know both of them were in this. Like, I mean, he was just in I saw him in Voyagers, which just came out last year, one of the worst films of the year. It's truly bad.
I hear it's horrible. Really bad. I heard it's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah. And he's like, it's not purely his fault. I mean, all around, it's just a really misguided movie. But like, I don't know. Like I said, it's just between their two track records, Tiffany Haddish and him. Paul Schrader, he's like, I liked First Reformed. The last movie, like he directed, and I didn't like love it like a lot of people.
I love
the one with Ethan Hawke. Yeah,
I love that movie.
So I think he's a better writer than a director, though, and so we'll see what this was. I thought I was gonna love this trailer. Like as soon as it dropped, I clicked on it so fast. I'm like, oh shit, we finally got a trailer. So I'm surprised that it didn't really hit me in any way, but I like the poker I liked Oscar Isaac in the poker aspect of it. I need to see maybe another trailer to really convince me, because like this didn't really do it for me. But.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say two things about this. So number one, I agree with you on Ty Sheridan. He's kind of like on that Jai Courtney thing, where like Jai Courtney's had like one or two maybe slightly good performances, but for the most part he just kind of bores the shit out of me when I watch him.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but he's a very boring, underwhelming actor. So I was like, God, him. But I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. It's Paul Schrader, maybe he'll get something good out of him. The other thing that I would say, I disagree with your Tiffany Haddish take. I mean, if you didn't like her in the trailer, that's completely valid. But like I'm saying, like I think that we need to give her a shot to do something like this for sure. She could be great. But the other thing that I would say about this whole movie, though, in general, is how many fucking card counting movies do we need? Because like I feel like that's a very common trope in Hollywood is card counting, and that aspect of it kind of underwhelms me. But I like the idea that this is being done in that Scorsese type style a little bit, it seems like. So I'll take it. Not that like we haven't had Casino, not that that's a card counting movie, but there's card counting involved anyway. Excuse me. My point is like between like 21 and what's the one with Matt Damon and Edward Norton, Rounders and all that kind of shit. Yeah, it's a great movie, but it's just like at the end of the day, it's like we've just seen this trope replayed a lot. So I hope that Paul Schrader, as he kind of does in First Reformed, adds this extra layer of uniqueness to what's going on, to make it like feel original at the very least. I just don't want this to feel like every other card counting movie that we've seen. So that would be like my one thing. And there's nothing in this trailer to indicate that it's not going to be every other card counting movie that we've seen so far. So that's one aspect of the trailer that I didn't necessarily dig, but for the most part, it looks like it could be a pretty solid flick. Like I said, I'm a fan of Paul Schrader. I loved First Reformed. I thought it was really really good. I thought Ethan Hawke was killer in that movie. But yeah. Either way, looks good. Could be really cool. And another trailer that intrigued me though, that does look incredibly unique outside of this one, was Lamb, which you sent me today, Cisco. What the fuck is going on with this one? Like, I am so intrigued because, okay, number one, I'm A24 biased. Like, people who watch the show could probably tell. I'm pretty A24 biased because I really do dig a lot of their attempts at like horror, and this looks like it fits in with your Hereditaries and the Witches, and like it really looks like it fits into that kind of genre. But what did you guys make of this? Like, is it Haunted Lamb? I mean, Cisco, what do you think? I mean, what are you thinking? What do you think is going on here?
I think it was funny because someone had tweeted like, Nicolas Cage just came out with Pig, and then A24 made First Cow last year, and then now they're doing Lamb. Like the whole farmhouse is coming out, which I thought was pretty funny. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if this is like more of a horror movie or like a drama. Like it looks
could be
like
a comedy.
We don't know. It could be. It looks like there's a lot of, I mean, I'll just say like what you're saying about, like you're talking about crushes, Numi Rapace. Like I just have been a huge fan of hers forever.
All right, I see
since the girl with the dragon tattoo movies, which I thought she killed those movies. So yeah, I mean, I'm always like kind of intrigued whenever she does something. I don't think her American movie output has been as good personally, but like I'm always like, I think she has a really interesting look to her, and like she approaches movies really like in a really different way. I mean, she's in Prometheus, like, and I thought that was like perfect casting in that movie too. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen a lamb like led like kind of horror. There was one that was like zombie lambs or something a bunch of years ago, or maybe that was sheep. Maybe it was called like Black Sheep or something. That was like the last time I seen kind of lambs or like farm animals used like this. But it's A24. Like it's another one where you can't really judge anything from the trailer. It's not going to be what's like in the trailer. So I don't know. I think it's called Black Sheep. I just looked it up. Zombie sheep.
Sammy, what'd you make of this?
So I feel like this movie's either going to be really bad or kind of really good, and I feel like there's no in between, and I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make it of it either. Here's the thing. It kind of gave me, do you guys know anything about Bat Boy? It's a musical, so you probably don't. Do you know what I mean, though? Yeah. Here's the thing. I feel like this is going to go, the big twist and everything is going to go down similar. It's going to be like a Bad Boy situation. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of right. So I don't want to spoil this movie or put it into your brain. Yeah. But it's basically a woman gets, by in Bat Boy by some bats and then becomes impregnated with a bat boy. Okay. And then but isn't aware of this.
I was thinking that too,
rid
actually.
Of the baby.
I was thinking that could be an element of it.
It comes back into her life and she raises it, and then it gets with her daughter, but they don't know that they're siblings. It's a whole thing. This read very like that to me. Like, I think she got A'd by a lamb and had a baby. And that's what this hybrid. Is. I think it's a hybrid like this, but I think it's something like the mom lamb had the baby or something, because the thing is, like, the mom lamb keeps following around this whole trailer. So it's something with like she had the baby, but it's gonna be a whole thing. It read very like that. I guess it's gonna be weird as hell is the point of that.
I guess to tie in our convo too, I'm looking at the director. It's a first-time director, but he worked on special effects for Rogue One and Prometheus. So there you go. 2 movies we already mentioned. Vladimir Johansson. And it's gonna be all in. It's like it's this, what is it, Icelandic movie? So it's gonna be foreign language too, which is like interesting. I don't really know how much A24 does that. So, but I mean, it's A24. It's on brand for A24. We were to bring it to our beginning of our Vertigo combo. This looks fucking weird.
Well, they did another foreign language movie too, and I can't remember the name of it to save my own life. I know that they have though. This definitely isn't their first foray into that. Like, they've definitely done foreign language shit before. But that intrigued me too. The fact that this is going to be a Minari. A24 did Minari. Minari is what I'm thinking of. But that great movie. But they so they've done this kind of thing before. It's not new. It's just I don't know. It's Icelandic is new though. Especially like something that's being marketed by I'm pretty sure A24 is a U.S. company. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I mean, their movies have definitely been popularized by the U.S. That's for damn sure. So, it makes me, very curious on that, the fact that they're trying to dive in. I think it's great that they're taking that risk, but like, again, like, I mean, I was dead serious when I said this could be a comedy, like it really could be like one of these, like, poke fun at horror movie type of things. Like, it's supposed to be kind of bad, funny in that way.
Could be like Swiss Army Man or something, like where very specifically, like, if you either love it or hate it, there's really, I think what Sammy said is right.
Yeah, like, I agree with Sammy's point 100% on that. Like, it definitely is a love it or hate it type of thing. I could see this one being divisive. A lot of A24 movies have been, though. Like, let's be real on that. Like, we are like,
which is why I like them. I like them though.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's part of it for sure. It's part of the fun of it is the fact that it's almost like a joke that we're in on. Like, I don't mean it like that, like, because they do make like really great, seriously well done movies, but like it's almost like a joke that we're in on when people like watch like casual viewers watch A24 movies and they're like, I don't get it. It's like we are like in this space and we are like massive hardcore film fans, so we understand what A24 is trying to do. But there's a lot of casual viewers that really don't. We got to understand that. But it's like a joke that we're in on, in a way, you know, being like hardcore film fans, where it's like, yeah, we know they're not going to get it, but we're going to recommend it to them anyway. You know, it's like, I don't know how many of you guys have done that. Have you ever just...
I mean, The Lighthouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, The Lighthouse. I'm like, I don't know how many people like are gonna actually go see this, but I saw it in the theater and I loved it, so I'm gonna go recommend it to all my friends, and except for my dad, who's like a blockbuster head. I'm like, do not see that movie. You're not gonna like. I could play that prank on him, but I just know he'll like be pissed at me, like, because he didn't even like Midsommar and The Witch, you know, and stuff like he's not into that A24 brand. You know, he liked Hereditary, so it's like they make like some mainstream, like Uncut Gems and Hereditary, I think more mainstream, but like if the weirder they go, I like it's your mileage may vary. So, but I like that. I mean, it's non-IP, it's original. It's like they take big swings. Like even if I don't like it, I'm like, well, at least it was like nothing I've ever seen before, you know? The Swiss Army Man had a farting corpse, you know, like never saw that before in a movie. So not mad at them for it, you know?
But have you guys like ever recommended like a real, like, it doesn't even have to be A24, I just want to get an answer from both of you.
Oh, I got the best one.
Where you
I got the best
recommended
story.
like a real art house type thing to somebody you just knew wasn't gonna like it, you just wanted to get a reaction because you knew how
I got the best one.
I'll let you take it.
Got the best one. So I had my old manager was the biggest dick to like me and my friend, and he was like this big black dude called what do we call him? We just called him Big Weird. I don't even know his name at this point. We were like this Big Weird, and he would, but yeah, he just hated us for some reason, and yeah, I knew for sure he was not gonna like Moonlight, because like he just strikes me as a type of like wannabe alpha dude that was like homophobic, you know what I mean? And so we were talking about, he like brought up to me one day because I never talked to him. He's like, "You see any good movies, Cisco?" Like, because he knows my reputation. And I was like, I'm gonna fuck with him. Like, I just know because like he's just such a dick. I'm like, you know what was really good I saw recently? Moonlight. You should really see that. It's like, and I think I left out all the gay stuff. I just was like, you know, it's a coming of age story about this young black man through the years. And I just like, I sold it. He was like, Moonlight? All right, man, I'm gonna put that on my list. And then the next time I worked with him, he was so fucking mad at me. He was like, Cisco, why would you recommend that to me? I was like, what do you mean? I was like, you mean the best picture of the year? He's like, man, I don't want to see all that gay shit. And I was man, I just don't see, you know, I just see a love story. I don't even look at it like that. And he's like, whatever, man. Like, and he just like walked away like so pissed. And I was like, well, I made one person see Moonlight. Like, I did my job, you know. One person who would have seen Moonlight otherwise. I did it. So
I like to do it
at your service.
I like to do it to my parents a lot, and it baffles me that the older generation, like such as my parents, sorry if they're listening to this that I called you old, but like the generation from the times of like where movies were actually like really like taking big swings and shit, like the shit that A24 is inspired by, like parents or people of the older generation have kind of fallen prey to the way that the studio system works now, to the point where they just can't appreciate these A24 art house movies, which they don't understand is like inspired by the shit they grew up on, you know what I mean? So it's like it's very odd to me how they've kind of fallen prey to that, you know. I don't know how that all works, but it's just the truth. It's weird to me. Like, they're not seeing it, they're not connecting that in their minds that, oh, this is like the shit that was coming out when I was growing up. They're not making that connection because they've also just grown so accustomed to the fact that, you know, movies are the way they are now. And like, I don't like, I'm not trying to call anybody out or talk shit when I say this, but what I'm trying to say is like my parents are, you know, they grew up with the generation is like of like, you watch a movie, you're done with it. You know what I mean? It's like they don't really hold like classics in their minds. Like they recognize that maybe like, yeah, Jaws is a classic, but they don't need to watch it again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
or talk about it.
Right.
Well, you couldn't back then. There was no at-home viewing experience.
Yeah.
Back in the day, if we're talking Jaws, you had to go in the theater and see it again. You couldn't go home and watch it.
True, but
still VHS and DVDs.
It's true, but like typically, like the way that even now though, like if a really great Marvel movie comes out, you know what I mean, and it's like it's really awesome. Like Endgame, to me, that Endgame or Infinity War weren't multiple watches. They're not like really like that with even those, and they love them. You know what I mean? They're just like, I saw it. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know if that's part of the way that they grew up on movies or anything like that, but it's crazy to me. I'm like, whoa, you know. And I
know some people that don't even like Uncut Gems, and I'm like, what? Like that's Uncut Gems is too weird for them.
I agree.
And I'm like,
it's weird to me that
that's
it's
so weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just a straight up like thriller. It's just from beginning to end. It's like a heart pounding thriller. Like, how is that weird? But I think because it's Adam Sandler and it's like, I don't know, like, and it's just too weird. And it just that baffles me because I at least try and be like, you know, see something that they might like, you know, like, you know, you don't start off with The Lighthouse, but like, I think you would actually like Uncut Gems. Like I'll start there and then based on what they come back to me with, I'll recommend something after that. But if they don't like Uncut Gems, I'm like, I can't help. I don't know what, you know?
I'm definitely trying to like ease my folks into like becoming like fans of art house because like I'm trying to like give them ways to look at it. I don't think I'm ever gonna win this battle, but like I'm definitely like trying to give them like ways to look at it because they like
me neither.
They watch Midsommar and were like mortified after that, and like I'm like that's kind of
my dad hated it too,
and I'm like that's kind of the point though. Like you're kind of supposed to be shocked and mortified, you know. Like I don't think that they quite get that. I think they just want to watch something that's easy most of the time. Like the Marvel movies are really easy, and they'll watch them and get a kick out of them. But they're not like given like.
Well, I mean, even like Eraserhead is considered a classic now, but that's not an easy watch. Like that's a fucking tough. You're gonna have to sit there and be uncomfortable as shit. You're gonna like not know what's going on for a lot of it. Like that's the point of the movie. Like that's David Lynch. Like but you're gonna get like a certain style of that you wouldn't see anywhere else. It's original. It's completely his vision, and I'm like, that's how I looked at Midsommar too. I was like, oh my god, like this is just this is unlike anything you'll see in a movie theater.
It's mortifying for sure for them, and they're like and like same with Uncut Gems. I watched it with my mother and she was like, I like Adam Sandler funny stuff. I'm like,
people were mad. People were mad that he died at the end too. Well, spoilers, I guess.
Was another thing. Another one of those cases where people just get mad because the narrative says, "Hey, this character's gonna die in the end."
Yeah, and I was like, "What else did you want to happen? Like for him to get away and then keep gambling like over and over again?" And you know, that was just that was his character arc. Like he was never gonna recover from his gambling addiction. He never was.
Dude, by the end of that movie,
just never was.
I mean, by the end of that movie, he's basically Tony Montana, right? He's gonna be toast. You know what I mean? Because he is that type of character. It made the most sense. Like that's like one of the things I love so much about something like Scarface, for example, which is like one of those movies from back in the day that took a big swing. It's like, but on the same hand, this character
are the gangster movies. Gangster movies, they always die at the end. Like it's just that's a fact. They either end up in jail or they die.
End up in jail. That was the other thing I was gonna say. They get ratted on, right? Like the Scorsese trope. Characters get ratted on. And it's just odd to me that they're like people like even my folks are like, well, do you have to die kind of thing, or you know, I like them in funnier roles. It's like, but then again, for some reason they'll watch like Wolf of Wall Street and think it's a masterpiece. You know, my parents. So it's like it's the strangest thing ever that happens because
it's a balance. It's a balance. I think it's
so strange. It's like at this point too, like with the way that movies are being made, like. There's times where I just don't understand what dictates an art house movie from a, you know, regular movie. Like, I understand that an A24 movie and a Marvel movie are completely different. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm saying that there's a lot of filmmakers that have kind of reached the middle ground of that. You know, I look at like John Krasinski with The Quiet Place. Like, it's not an art house movie by any means, and those movies make a shit ton of money. Or Quentin Tarantino is probably a better example of somebody who kind of like plays with the art house thing. And they love Tarantino movies, my parents, you know what I mean? And it's like his movies are really fucking odd, you know. It's like,
but he makes like blockbuster art house ones, you know what I mean?
Well, he's just the guy that found a way to maneuver that. I think that's the difference with Tarantino. Is like, I think somehow, some way, he found a way to maneuver the art house with the, you know, blockbuster. But the same thing. I always go back to Spielberg when he was like, when somebody had asked him why he makes art house films or why he makes blockbusters and not art house films, and he's saying, well, can't we make both? Which he is. You look at like every movie
he
of
does
Spielberg's,
a lot.
it's art house and blockbuster mixed in. It has the character development and the shots of an art house movie while being a very big blockbuster movie, at least the Spielberg classics. But
I don't know how you could say that to the guy that made Schindler's List. Like, why don't you make more art house films?
I believe that interview was early in his career though, and that was back when like Spielberg, Lucas, because they were kind of referring to like the Stanley Kubricks of the world and stuff, like how they would make like art.
Well, even before that, he did like Color Purple, and he's always made Oscar-y dramas. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with that point 100%. There's no doubt about the fact that he has. Yeah. But, at the time, like, could you imagine talking to Spielberg in his, like, infancy and not knowing that he's going to become Spielberg? Like, you probably wouldn't think anything of it either, though, right? Like, you'd probably just want to, like, know shit. Like, yeah, obviously he's made great movies.
The good reviewers, though, like, could tell after Jaws, like, this guy is definitely another. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure like Roger Ebert, like reading his review and even like Scorsese, like he was in on Scorsese like super early. Like, this guy's gonna be one of the best directors going forward, like, ever. And I mean, he was right.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So I feel like if you know what you're talking about, I think you can tell. I mean, Ari Aster, I was in on him after Hereditary. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, Ari Aster.
Midsommar, that's 2 for 2. So I'm like, what's he gonna do next? Like,
well, yeah, not everybody could be like an overnight success like him and Spielberg, though. It's like that's a thing, right there. Or even Lucas, like with I mean, THX didn't hit, but like American Graffiti, I think after that everybody knew like, oh, this is something, incredible. And then obviously by Star Wars, everybody was on board. They were like, this is the best director of all time. By the way, fun fact about George Lucas, he is the richest celebrity of all time, which makes a lot of sense, but I just found that out.
Yeah, I never knew that. That checks out.
Yeah, checks out.
Checks out.
Sam, you have to tell before we get out of here what your Chucky phobia, because we got this new Chucky trailer.
Well, we got another hour left, so we're good. But anyway, go ahead, Sam. Yeah.
I just saw Child's Play when I was like in elementary school at like a sleepover, and it traumatized me. I've been traumatized ever since. I don't like creepy dolls. I don't like Chucky. I did watch this trailer thing, and I was horrified. I'm not going to be watching this series or whatever it is. Hope I don't get ads for it.
Well, is it like dolls in general, or is it like Chucky specifically?
Kind of Chucky specifically. I mean, kind of like older dolls too. I don't really like.
I just got.
It depends on the doll.
I just ordered Dead Silence. You have that one, Dom? That's a pretty good.
I love Dead Silence. I love Dead Silence. I don't have it yet though. I need to get it. It's one of the ones that is.
I'll send you a link, dude. It's like I got it for like $6 online. It's pretty cheap.
Is the unrated cut? Because I think the unrated cut's better.
It's unrated. Yeah.
Great. All right, I'm down. So, Blu-ray.
But yeah, Blu-ray.
Send it over. Yeah.
But yeah, Chucky, I'm just excited for this. Like, sorry, Samee, but
no, happy for you.
I'm excited for it because I wasn't the biggest fan of the, remake of it, the reboot, whatever you want to call it. With what's his name, Luke doing the voice of Mark Hamill doing the voice of Chucky. It was just weird. Like, it was weird looking, and it was just like the execution was off, even though there's some cool stuff about it. Like, I thought it was fine, but it's not. Brad Dourif is Chucky. Like, you cannot he's the voice of Chucky. Anything else is weird. Like, and it just like when they try to replace Freddy Krueger, like it's just, Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. So like, hearing his voice in this trailer again, just for like those couple of lines, I was like, oh yeah, like I was like, yes, this is my Chucky right here. So yeah, I mean, the acting in the story, that's going to be questionable. I don't, the kid actor and some of the lines in here were kind of like, oh, this looks really teen high school, like it's kind of the same like storyline of the remake too, of like kids are picking on him and Chucky kind of helps, like has his back. Like that was kind of the thing of the remake. Which like it was one of the better aspects of it, I guess, because it was like an AI, so it really didn't know like what it was doing was wrong, kind of. But like this one, it's just like, how Chucky's like whispering into his ear and he's like talking to him, like, I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what this one is. But I'm just happy Brad Dourif's back, and the original creator is back, behind, like, helming it again, in a TV show this time. Like the movies have been, I mean, it's crazy that it's been the same guy like this whole time has been in charge of all the Chucky movies, pretty much, which is very rare. I will say, like, some of the newer ones, like I didn't like Cult, but the one before that one I thought was like one of the best ones. So it's like it's been, I forget, I'm gonna look up the names of these.
I got it because I'm gonna take you through my history of, I prepped for this.
Curse of Chucky,
right.
Curse is really good.
I agree. I'll take you through my history of Child's Play here. So for me, Child's Play, absolute classic. Love the first one. Child's Play 2 has actually become my favorite in older days. I don't know why. There's something about that movie I just love. I think it's kind of how they just like they went like straight ass horror with that second one, I think, and that's what I really like about it. Reminds me of a lot of the other.
I like the factory ending. That was always my favorite.
It's fucking epic, in a way. So I love Child's Play 2. I hold that near and dear to my heart. Own them on Blu-ray. I even own Child's Play 3, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I loved it as a kid, so I have a lot of nostalgia for Child's Play 3.
I like that one.
Bride of Chucky, loved it as a kid, have a lot of nostalgia, own it. Don't really enjoy it now, but that's okay. I find that to be
better than Seed of Chucky, though.
That's where I was going to go. Is Seed of Chucky is absolutely dog shit, 100%. Then they decided,
kill the franchise.
Exactly, and then they decided, hey, we're gonna do like a very, very soft reboot of this character, and went into Curse of Chucky. And Curse of Chucky to me was really good, and it was like a straight to DVD thing, which was really shocking to me, because like it's actually really good, and a lot of people didn't watch it and a lot of people didn't even know it came out because it was so poorly marketed. It was like a straight to DVD shit. But Cult of Chucky, I agree. But the one thing I'll say about Cult of Chucky is it at least gave them the opportunity to be like, we can reboot this in a TV show. Great. This looks really cool. This looks like a lot more grounded, back to the roots. I'm down. Like, I think that this is going to be cool. This is like the classic Chucky to me. So I watched this trailer actually with a smile on my face. Well, agreed, Cisco. I mean, the lines don't sound like they're the best, but what Child's Play movie ever did have the best writing? I think that's part of the charm of them. Is the fact that they are cheesy 80s horror movies.
But the kid going like, she's like, you like vintage? And he's like, no, retro. And I was like, oh gosh. She's like, what's the difference? I was like, okay, all right, this kid's gonna be super unlikable. Like, and
Andy was unlikable though. Andy is incredibly unlikable.
At least he was cute though. He was like a cute, like younger kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but he's got that Jake Lloyd thing going on. You know, he's kind of annoying. You kind of want to throw him out the window instead of that poor ant.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I think the mistake that they make, like especially in Cult, which is like my least favorite part, is they always try the continuity. They try and connect everything all together, and it's like, can we just do like every time you make a Chucky movie, it's just like a new cast? Like, why do we need the girl from the last one, and then Andy needs to make a cameo, and then you got the girl that played Tiffany? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, why? I don't need these people. Like, I never really cared for them. I like, it was cool. They're cool in their one movie, but like, I think Halloween made that mistake. And like, they just always, they try and connect all these pieces, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, why? You don't need, Chucky's the star. And that's why I'm glad this show's called Chucky. It's like, yes, Chucky is the star of the show. That's the only one you need to bring back. And like, I didn't see any other like cameos from other people. So that's my hope though. It's like, where it's like, I hope it's just a completely new thing. Like, and so like, even though Don Mancini didn't get to do like the remake or whatever, like this was the one he was kind of been promoting the whole time. You know, that he's in charge of again. He's been involved in every single Chucky movie up to this point. So like that's you never really get that in any franchise.
Yeah.
So like that at least is pretty cool.
And I'm just 100% stoked, like for sure. It just seems again, I didn't see the remake. I want to watch it because I'm a big fan of Aubrey Plaza and Mark Hamill. I think they're very talented people. But I just never got around to it. It was one of those things that kind of came and went. You know what I mean? You know, those things kind of come and go. That's kind of how the new Child's Play was to me. And I'm not like you anymore, Cisco, where I just watch horror movies because I'm a fan, you know, anymore. Like I kind of gave up on that a while back. Just at an age now where it's like I'm just trying to watch shit I think is going to be good. Or has the opportunity to be good. Not that Child's Play couldn't be. It's just I don't know. I used to be a lot like you where I was like I'd watch like every horror movie because I was that hardcore into horror. And then I don't know, something happened along the way where that just died in me. I
actually haven't been watching a lot lately too. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I haven't been doing that as much either. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I think Shudder's been lackluster. Shudder needs to step their game up.
Except for Dial Code hasn't really been much on
right?
there. Because I need to watch.
Oh yeah, got that one back there.
Yeah. Sick.
That one's great. Sick. I mean, yeah, Joe Bob Briggs, his show on Shudder was like one of the only like the things that I really liked on there that they would introduce me to new horror movies every week. So that was cool on Shudder. So, but they're off now. The season ended for that. So like I haven't really. Yeah, nothing really on Shudder since then to like come up. But yeah, horror's been pretty weak this year though too. Like there hasn't really been any like new ones. I think it's just like comfort. It's like every once in a while you just got to go back to the horror movies you love. You know what I mean? It's a unique experience for horror fans that you don't get anywhere else. Same thing with I think I've been doing because I've been doing an action podcast every week too. It's like I like action movies, but it's not the same. For some reason, horror movies just hit like a different spot than like action movies. Like even ones that I like, it's like I can only watch them over and over again so many times. But horror movies, they have a charm to it. Yeah. Even the bad ones for me, like the old badder ones.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So we're about 75% of the way through the show right now. So Samee, real quick, I got to get up and grab something real quick because I got to show you guys what I got. I got to show it off here on the show. But Samee, real quick, will you tell people why they should subscribe to Spotify?
You should subscribe to Spotify because it's free. It's easy. It helps us out.
Yeah.
It's the nice thing to do. It would make us happy. It would be a cool thing for you to do. It would, did I mention it would help us out? Because it would. It would be a good thing. You know what? It grows the economy. It benefits everybody.
You're running for office
and
Samee?
Hurts nobody. Yes. I am now
I'm back. I'm gonna save you from yourself.
Thank you.
We need to like write something, or you need to write something for that. Like, not that was really good for putting you on the spot. Don't get me wrong. You're really wonderful at that.
An ad read, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we need to figure out a way for people to get to Spotify. That's something I want to try to do. But anyway, guys, I'm back. Yes, follow us on Spotify, guys. If you have a long commute, I do every day, and Spotify has saved my ass. I listen to Rogan on there pretty much daily. So definitely
that Tarantino interview though, dude,
it was the shit. That was awesome.
That was so good.
I think that's his best one yet, honestly. And so we don't have Tarantino, but you should follow us anyway, because if you're watching this on video, you can listen to it again on audio. But no, the Tarantino one, dude, I was impressed. I was like, this is Rogan's best shit, dude. He got like, because typically
I wish Tarantino would do a TV show, dude. I would just, if Tarantino did like a streaming thing of like his favorite movies and just talked about it, I would just like, I'd watch the shit out of that.
You know what I loved about the Tarantino interview is like, it just showed that he is just as much a fan of movies today as he was when he started.
That's what I'm saying. He's a film nerd. He's a film critic.
Yeah.
Like
and honestly,
he's really smart.
If he wants to quit movies and write books about movies, I'm down, dude. Like after listening to that,
that's what I was saying too.
I'm gonna buy his books. Yeah, because he knows a lot, and he talks about There were like, dude, everything he recommended on that show or was bringing up that I hadn't heard of or seen, I was like, I'm getting it. I'm getting
Add
it
it to the
man.
list.
Yeah.
Add it to
It's
the
like,
list.
I gotta get it, man. I'm sure they're all Criterion Collection shit, but you know, I gotta get it all, dude. It all just sounded.
I don't
so
know.
cool.
He's got some really like underrated ones or like underappreciated ones. That's why I like him, because he'll pull out some shit that you never even heard of, or you know what I mean. So I listen to like all his interviews, like, because he's you just learn so much from him just on that angle. I do give Joe Rogan props though for trying to get him to not quit. That was did you notice that he kept going like, come on man, like we're such fans of yours, like we don't want to see you quit at the top of your game.
I also give Rogan props, because I've seen a lot of people do this and fail, is the fact that he brought up the controversial shit in the movies, and I've seen Tarantino walk out of interviews because of that, but he clearly has a high respect for Joe Rogan, the fact that he stuck around and spoke to him after that. And I was like, damn, Rogan's got some balls for even bringing it up, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the trick, and like I feel this way when I'm talking to people on here, when Samee and I have had different people on here, and I think Samee probably feels the same way about this, is the fact that you know, if we talk to them like fucking people, they're gonna talk, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of the same approach Rogan took with the Tarantino interviews. Like, I'm gonna fucking talk to him a little bit, you know, and make him feel like a human being, because so many
that's his show. That's his show's format.
Exactly, because so many people make the mistake of, you know, or all these big, you know, like 60 minutes or some shit. It's all written down before you get in there, you know. They know the questions are going to be asked, you know. It's not new. You know, it's not like you're not talking to somebody, you know, and that's like the idea that I want to get to with this podcast, and you know, personally, like I would love to just make this as conversational as possible. I don't want to make you or Samee feel like you're fucking aliens when you walk in here, or anybody else who comes on the show, you know, or anything I do. I want everybody.
I'm an alien though.
I am a robot personally.
Let me show you what I got though. That's the whole reason I had Samee promote Spotify, so I can get up to grab this. Samee will be excited about this. Cisco, man, not so much, but that's all right. Quiet Place 2 Steelbook. Grabbed it today. I'm so stoked to pop this in.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
it just come out.
The back, yeah, it came out today. Inside's super cool though. This looks like, I don't know which artist did this, but I want to get a hold of them and have them on the podcast, because like, look at that shit. That's pretty freaking cool. That's really good fucking artwork. Yeah, so no, I mean,
really cool.
I stand by this though. I know Cisco thinks I'm a madman and should be locked in the asylum. This is the best movie that's come out.
You just come up with the hottest takes, dude.
I know.
You just come up with some hot, scorching hot takes.
Dude, that's me though. Like, most of my friends will tell you, like, yeah, he said that about Last Jedi when it came out. You know what I mean?
That's like one of my friends, we were talking about like the Carter 3 album, and I was like, I like that album, don't get me wrong, but I like posted it, and I have a friend, and he was like, he commented on it like, best album of the last 50 years, and I'm like, bro, come on now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I like Lil Wayne and I like the Carter 3. It's not the best album of the last 50 years. Like, yeah. I can't even. Yeah, I can't.
Time will tell. We change our opinions upon rewatch and like new information. You know, everything changes, man, as you grow. And who knows, man? I mean, like Last Jedi to me, when it came out, when I first saw that movie, not when I first saw it. I'm sorry, when I watched it. Because the first time I saw it, I stayed up all night wondering what the fuck I watched. But then, like, I watched it, like, the 3 more times, and I was like, oh, I love this movie to the point where I don't think there's any problems with this movie. Now I watch Last Jedi, I'm like, there's definitely problems here. You know? Like, I recognize now that there's problems, and like, it's not like... So, Quiet Place 2 could have that same thing. I'm saying where I stand right now, I think that this is the best movie I've seen in the last 20 years, which, honestly, I never did say about
better than Mad Max Fury Road,
which I haven't seen.
Okay, better than Zodiac.
Yeah.
Or The Social Network.
Yeah. If you listen, I'm not asking you to, Cisco, but I'm telling the folks if they want a more in-depth explanation. Our movie night episode of Quiet Place 2 that we did, I think I gave a pretty good explanation of why I feel the way I do on this one. And a lot of it is because...
Better than the John Wicks? Come on, Dom.
Oh, fuck yeah. 110%, dude. Because this has that thing. There's that thing, and Samee kind of agreed in a sense. Not that it's the best movie in the past 20 years, but that there's definitely a thing that like Spielberg had, Lucas had back in the day that this movie has to me. Right, Sammy? You kind of agreed with that point, right? Like that this movie definitely has that thing that movies just don't have anymore, that there's something there, and like that thing just happens to speak to me. Whatever it is, I can't quite point it out. You know what I mean? But it's definitely, there's a thing to this movie that like a lot of filmmakers had. I don't know if it's the simplicity of it, but yeah, it's just a damn perfect sequel. Yeah, and I mean, I mean, I've been honest with you, Cisco. I totally think the fact that you thought Conjuring 3 was a better horror movie makes you.
I stand by that.
Go
I
by
think that's not as hot as a take as last year. One movie, I said it's better than one movie. You're saying it's better than 20 years of movies. I don't think my take is as hot as you do.
It's a good point. Hey, you make a completely valid point. You make a completely valid point. I understand.
But that's your opinion.
No, but
they could put that on the box set. They could put that on the DVD if they want.
Well, they didn't, the motherfuckers. I gotta talk to somebody about that. But no, I mean, I think the fact that, like, listen, you're right. You're 100% right. And I knew the fact, the second I tweeted that out or put that on Instagram, wherever the fuck I put it, that people were going to be on me about it. And they were. And I don't give a fuck. Because, like, you know what? Like, next year, it's probably going to change. And I accept that. You know, like, I accept that. Like, I probably watched this movie about 100 more times. And my opinion on it will probably change. I might see, like, oh, I actually have a problem with this now. Or whatever. You know, and it's not like it's a movie that's completely against criticism or anything like that. I'm not trying to say, like, by me saying that it's like the best movie I've seen in the past 20 years, that just means that this is a movie much like Jaws, much like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, much like Star Wars, much like Empire, whatever. It just means that this is a movie I could see myself watching as much as I see those, as much as I watch those films. That's all I meant by that. It's not untouchable. It's not like against criticism. I welcome people to criticize that movie. I think it's any great film you should criticize. Like, even Jaws has fucking problems. Like, go back and listen back when we were doing Dom's Corner podcast to Adam and mine's New Hope review when we revisited that. We had so many problems with that movie, but we're just like, we fucking love it. You know, it's like, it's one of the best Star Wars movies we've ever seen. And people would call that blasphemy. I think if you're going to be like a good critic, and part of the reason I respect what you do so much, Cisco, is you do recognize there's flaws, even in things you fucking like, you know? It's like there's nothing's untouchable. You know what I mean? Nothing is untouchable when it comes to that.
No, I rarely call a movie perfect, honestly. I don't think there really is a perfect movie, or if there is, it's very 1% of all movies. you know what I mean? It's
like, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. It's one of the reasons I respect you. It's one of the reasons I think Saturday Matinee is, I'm not trying to promote your shit, but like, it's one of the best fucking shows you should go listen to.
Thanks, dude.
Right now, I'm being dead serious when I say that. I chime in because I'm a fan, not because I think I have to, because you're a friend of mine. It's like, I'm genuinely a fan of that shit. It's one of the reasons I brought you into this, you know? It's like, I think this guy is really good. I gotta get him while I can afford him, you know, because he's a really damn good critic, you know? I think the best critics are the ones that disagree with me, you know, or just have a different take than me. I don't want to listen to a critic.
And if you listen, you know, me and Edwin disagree more often than not. So,
and I think that's great, honestly.
Yeah. So.
Like, I'm not trying to make this the fucking let's kiss each other's ass podcast, but I genuinely mean this when I say, like, everybody should be listening to Saturday Matinee right now. Because, like, honestly, the fact that you two disagree all the fucking time is what makes me love it so much, you know? Yeah. There was a critic a long time ago I was
talking about that, yeah.
There was a critic
I was talking about that. That's Cisco and Ebert. Cisco and Ebert used to disagree all the time, and that's what made people love that. But it's like, that's why, you know, me and Edwin are not, like, just following the trend of, like, Rotten Tomatoes or what other critics think. Like, we're always, by loving or hating something, or we're always just on the opposite side, one of us is always in the minority. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of us is always, like, I know people think I'm crazy for thinking Conjuring 3 was good because it wasn't really a critically, you know, glowing reviewed movie, but like, I watched it. Like I thought it was effectively scary. I watched it like at night, and so like it worked for me. But I know it might not work for everybody else. So I'm being honest with how it played for me. So
and you were being 100% honest. Same way I was being when you were so kind to have me on that review for that amount of time.
Yeah.
I was just being 100% honest, man, and like that's what I like about the show. Like you and Edwin are just 100% honest. Like I this is what I was gonna get to is I commented. There was a critic a long time ago I used to listen to, who's no longer active. I won't name any names. That did a review, and him and the other person disagreed, and you could tell it was fabricated that way. Like you could tell that it was like one person told the other person like, "Hey, let's disagree on this because it'll make for good entertainment." And I don't like scripted shit, you know, like that's where I'm at in life. It's like I don't get on YouTube stereo. That's why I listen to so few people on stereo. While a lot of people's shit isn't scripted, they don't actually have like informed thoughts on shit. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, and I'm not trying to diss stereo for that. I think it's great that it welcomes all sorts of people and there's an audience for everything. I really feel that way. But a lot of stereo's content, it includes a lot of people, which may be verified, may not be verified, and I'm just a guy with an opinion here. But I just feel like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, a lot of stereo's content feels like it's a lot of people who just have very uninformed opinions and a lot of hot takes. And
that's the downside.
Yeah. And with you and Edwin, it's like that's part of what attracts me to the show. Like I don't even think I knew you had a show when I first like met you, because you were like chiming into my stereos.
Yeah.
And like I don't even think I knew you had a show. I think it was more or less like you just told me about that and I found it upon the way, because I always thought your comments were really good because you disagreed with me. That was when I started respecting you. That was when I started respecting you. It's like you fucking disagreed with me, and I was like, oh, but he disagreed with me respectfully. You know what I mean? He was like, not like in a way that he was like, Dom, I love you, but I disagree. He was just like, no, I disagree because, you know, and I'm like,
you gotta have a reason for it.
Right.
You have a reason, back it up.
Right. And so I was like, I'm gonna go watch Cisco's shit because again, like he just, you know, he disagrees with an informed opinion. So when you told me you had a show, I was like, I gotta jump on that immediately. And I think that like the humorous thing about your show, and I always come in there and give you guys shit, but like, I think the humorous thing about your show is the fact that you and Edwin like organically disagree, and like that
disagree a lot.
You don't get that on everything. It's a very, not that you're Cisco or Edwin's Ebert, not that it's an apples to apples comparison, but like it's like you were saying, Cisco and Ebert disagreed all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like it just it's like that's one of the things I mean, Cisco and Ebert obviously inspirations to me, probably inspiration to both of you guys. So
to both of us, to us too. So it makes sense that it's a podcast, so it's like kind of a similar format. They were like on TV. So I mean, I think I didn't even have a show back then. Like I think it just came organically with you know, I was friends with Edwin on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I know he's like a professional critic, and I you know, we always used to DM back and forth, and I'm like, I want to do something on stereo, but like you need to have another person to do a show on there. That was before they had like you can do it by yourself. And then he was like, well, I would do a show with you if you want. And I was like, all right, well, let's test it out. Let's try and, you know what I mean? Let's do a show and see how it goes. And that was like when WandaVision was on, which was like probably the best Marvel show to have a show about on stereo at the time, because it was like so many theories and stuff, people calling in, and we started adding. Before it was like more free flowing like this, but then we started like, you know, talking about let's do movies, like let's review, maybe let's do like a new one and then an old one, and like a star, and then we kind of formed from there, like let's do two movies that are kind of similar, so that way it makes sense. We're not just talking about two random movies. And then that's like the show now. So the De Palma series we've been doing has been like something we've been talking about for a long ass time, so I'm glad we're finally doing that, because we're huge fans of De Palma, man. We love De Palma. And this summer's been kind of rough, I'm not gonna lie. Even I think it's been pretty far in between what we like and what we don't like. So, but I think the fall is going to get better. I'm excited about Green Knight, and then these De Palma movies. I mean, we didn't even really love the one we did last week, High Mom, with Robert De Niro. pretty early, like De Palma, before I think he really knew what he was doing. Or he was kind of just experimenting, and Robert De Niro, which is still
Carrie.
it's still really fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't even. Yeah. We could talk. I love Carrie, but
I love Carrie too. But like, I feel that way. That like, I clearly could see he's not at Scarface level. I have a lot of critiques in that one.
Yeah. But okay, I see what you're saying. But like, I think I think we both, me and Edwin, agree. Like, Sisters is kind of where we think he started to find his stride, and then Carrie probably is like his first one where it's like, this guy's here to stay. Like, this guy's amazing. But yeah, Hi Mom, it's not a great movie, but like, I think De Niro and De Palma are so talented. There's like little scenes in there that are like little nuggets that you're like, God damn, De Niro is so fucking funny. Like his comedy chops to that movie were making me crack up, even though like the movie as a whole is not good. And same thing with De Palma, where I'm like, he's doing things with the camera and messing with like the motion, like speed of the camera and zooming and angles and stuff like that. That's like, you can just tell he was just young. He was like just out of college and stuff. But I really need to fill in like some of my blind spots with him too, just like Hitchcock. I'm working on that because
I'm
a huge fan of both of them. So.
Yeah, Hitchcock I've been definitely getting into. But going back to your WandaVision point about, that's kind of where you started out. You're like, hey, a lot of people are watching this. Let's give this a shot. That's like, it's funny you mentioned that, because that's like how Ian and I started out when we first started this, which is like where we first met Samee. And like, I kissed Cisco's ass enough tonight. I should kiss yours, I guess, a little bit. It's like, the fact that like, I mean, like, that was the same thing with Samee. Like, when she started talking, and like, one of the things that attracted me to Samee is the fact that like she, or you, Samee, I guess, since you're here, I won't talk about you in the third person omnet or whatever that is.
Hello.
But I mean, it's like you were just telling people off in that chat, like it not in a bad, but like you were coming in.
Was I?
A little bit. Like, I'll tell you how you were telling people off, though. It wasn't like in a mean way. But the first thing that like made me think I got to get her on this show, and Ian agreed with me at the time, like he really dug your take, is the fact that like somebody, I don't remember what it is to this day, I'd have to go back and listen to it, but somebody somebody chimed in with the take. It made no fucking sense. And and you came in and you pretty much said that in the most respectful way, but the way you did it is you counteracted it with information. Like, you clearly did your fucking research. And like, I was like, we're recruiting her. I told Ian that immediately. I said, I'm gonna add her on Facebook. I'm gonna recruit her into the show, because like, she clearly is somebody who's incredibly informed. Like because you like somebody, they gave a dumbass take. I don't remember, and I was a lot more politically correct.
I don't even remember.
Makes sense. It's stereo. There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
I was so much more politically correct back then, so I'm sure I was like, oh yeah, man, that's a cool take. Yeah. But Samee came in and was like obliterated that person, and like, I don't remember what take it was. You can go back and listen to it, I'm sure, but I was just like, oh shit, because like, you totally like inadvertently burnt the person that commented before you on your take. And like, inadvertently though, you did it with like actual fucking
in a nice way.
It wasn't even necessarily nice, but it wasn't even mean either. It was just like, I'm gonna give you the information, and it like completely contradicted the person prior to you. And you could tell, I was like, this girl's like fiery in the best way, because like, she like she did her research, she grabbed the information to contradict it, and she was just like, I don't think that that's correct, because I was like, yeah, we're recruiting that girl immediately. And it was just like, it was.
Well, I used to listen to your guys' show on stereo all the time. When you guys would just do like random topic shows or whatever. That's how I like was onto you guys. Like, you just be like, what's your favorite comedy? And people would like just call it and shit. And I was like, I mean, I got like a million favorite comedies. Let me just chime in here. Like, drop in like some of my favorites, and we just be like, doing lines back and forth and stuff like that. So That's what I was like. I mean, that's my favorite shit, is just talking about movies at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So.
And that was, I think, one of the best strategies we've ever had, is to like have a topic that opens it up to the crowd. And I say that because that's like how we discovered you and shit, you know, because we were just like, because you started coming in with like real informed opinions, and then you promoted your show. Typically, I wouldn't check out anybody's show who came in and promoted theirs unless I really liked you. Like, I'll be real with the audience right now. Like, if you come in there, promote your show, I'm just going to think you're using us as a platform, so I typically wouldn't. But Cisco was very smart in the sense that, like, he actually became a part of the community before he, like, did that, you know? So, like, that's, to anybody out there who listens to our stereos or anything, like, become a part of the community. I feel the same way about, like, fucking Jose. You know what I mean? And, like Jose's a really good cat, you know? And, like, I discovered him because
type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, because he never came in there promoting anything. He just came in there extremely friendly, and as luck would have it, we recouped later on one of your shows, Cisco, that you were doing. You invited me to, and like we were talking about Star Wars and shit, and I was like, "This is a really cool cat." So like now we do Star Wars Sunday. That's how you do it, man. You gotta like come in there and like
network organically. That's stereo is the best place for that, honestly, because I got 2 podcasts now, like with this one, and then movie buffs, and then Saturday matinee, so I guess 3 now, just from people I met on stereo. I guess I met Edwin before that, but like 2 podcasts just off stereo.
110%. Yeah, I mean that's cool. How you gotta do it. You can't just sit there and be like, I got the like if you could get people's number like right off the bat sometimes, because sometimes people come in there with like one short comment, and then the second comment they have is like something about the shit that they're doing.
Check me out.
Like, we have this guy, and this is another guy I would love to have on the show. I already told him I want him as a guest, Samee, so we need to get him on a Thursday show. This guy, Dave, who does a lot of shit on stereo. Really cool motherfucker. I love him because we disagree on everything. And he's a really cool dude, and he jumped into one of our Star Wars Sundays, and, like, he honestly, he was, he promoted some shit. Like, he owns some businesses and shit up in Florida. But he did that at the end of the fucking show after we'd already, like, had communication, contact. It's like, and I was perfectly okay with that.
I do it, like, respectfully.
Right. Exactly. I don't mind you coming in there and trying to promote your shit, because I understand we're living in hard times and you want to, like, everybody's after the same goal, and I don't really give a shit what you do. But I don't like when people like make one comment and think like, oh, we're buddies now because I had a nice response to you, and then you're just like, oh, I'm gonna promote all my shit right here and now. Then it's like, no, you can't use that as a platform just because you see that Samee and I have a lot of listeners on that particular stereo, or Cisco has a lot of listeners on Saturday matinee. You can't just come in there and be like, I'm going to use this as a jumping off point. It's like, no, become friends with the people as best you can. Stereo is a really great place to do that. I agree. Like, I think that, like, and like, maybe you'll actually end up fucking enjoying yourself rather than just being like, I'm a guy who's just after, like, promoting my business. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I think that that's the best way to go about it. If just advice to anybody, like, that's how. Not that we're the biggest thing in the world. I'm not trying to talk that way. I'm just saying that, like, that's how I managed. Because some people have asked me actually recently, like, how'd you meet Cisco and Samee? And that's honestly it. I recruited them.
Origin story right here, this episode. Yeah.
Like, we're genuinely...
Origin stories.
Right, we're genuinely all buds now. I think we get along great. And, like, that's, like, if we're not that, I'm not going to even bother, like, asking you to be on the show or anything. I've just had a couple people ask me recently, so I wanted to make sure I brought that up. There was something else.
I've had some, too, like, I've had some, like, shows that didn't work out where, like, for whatever reason, like, I don't know, either the people were unprofessional or, you know what I mean, like you were talking about, or, like, rude or whatever, like, where I tried to do shows with them and it just didn't work out. And it's like, it's gonna be that too, but I've honest, there's been a lot of people like the Artful Paul I've done a couple of shows with. We just did one recently on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or like Shani B. How I did it with her was like, she did like a bunch of horror shows all the time, and I was like, this girl knows like so many freaking horror 80s horror movies and stuff, that like I am into, and she would just like talk about like at length, and I would just call in all the time, like what I was saying with you guys. I enjoyed calling more than anything, honestly. So that I don't know like who reached out to who or whatever, and I was like, dude, I would just love to do a show with you or something, and like talk about horror. And I think I might have reached out to her, and then she was like, well, I have like all these horror shows already. Maybe we can do another angle. And I was like, well, like, do you like action movie? Like, we just went through a couple of different things, and then she was like, I love action movies. So then that led to every, Friday now we have a show, Movie Buffs on Stereo. That's like action movies. And so that's another one that I have a great time doing that, because that's not really a genre I'm really, like I was saying earlier, I don't really get to explore action movies like that, but I think it's like a nice palate cleanser before we get into Saturday matinee and we're doing like, classic De Palma movies, it's like a good balance for me. And then the movie news with you guys, Anorak too. So I get like a little bit of everything. Like to me, it's like healthy balance. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this, and then I want to move on to something else, because I spent so much time trying to set up the YouTube thing before the show, so I want to make sure we utilize it. Because
let's do it.
Because there was one thing I wanted to show you guys. Anyway, either way, the one thing I would say is like, I mean, for the longest time, I wasn't having fun with this show, and that's nothing against you or Samee or Cisco or you guys, but that's just because I didn't have the gear to do so. You know what I mean? So every week, I'm still going to do this, but every week we would do Star Wars Sundays, which I agree with you, Cisco. That's like a palate cleanser. This is something that I'm just kind of doing off for fun, because I imagine you have the same effect as I do. Like, I love the show now. Like, I mean, I'm kind of getting back in the groove now and everything, but like sometimes it can become stressful. It's like, oh God, I got to watch these shitty ass movies to hit Saturday matinee or whatever. I understand that feeling, because Samee and I do movie night, and it's one of my favorite things I do every week. Don't get me wrong. I love talking to Samee about movies, and it's incredible to sit back and let Samee be the host, on those. But like, it's just like, man, like, I'm sure Samee feels the same way. It's like, I gotta watch these movies.
It's all about balance.
Samee wanted,
as Thanos would say,
right?
All things balanced.
Samee wanted financial compensation for Fast and Furious. I mean, I get it. It's tough.
Exactly.
It's extremely.
I still want that. I went through so much, man. That was a whole week. I did nothing for a whole week but watch the Fast Saga.
Right.
I deserve financial compensation.
I bailed. I didn't make it. I made it through the first three, and I didn't make it past that.
I did all of them.
Yeah.
Good for you. Wow. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Like you said,
I know. Thank you.
Balance. We're trying to balance the fun of this while also trying to give our audiences a good viewing or listening experience, and it's tough sometimes. So my point is like, I'm back in a good place now, especially with the new gear. It's got me super hyped. I'm loving it. It's made it a lot easier on me, that's for damn sure. Even though I'm still figuring everything out, I actually like figuring shit out with this new gear. But the point is at the end of the day, it's like sometimes you need your palate cleansers. Like for me, it's Jose and I talking Star Wars every week. You know what I mean? Which we still got to get you on, by the way, Cisco. I don't know how you've been on Bad Batch. It's not over. Is
Bad Batch gonna end? Oh, okay. When that's over, I'll go on there. We could talk about the season or something.
Okay, great. Yeah. Have you caught up?
I think I'm maybe like an episode or maybe. I think I'm just like an episode behind. Yeah, I think I just missed last week's. Okay. But I'm almost caught up. Yeah.
Okay, I'll warn you. This recent one was a very fillery episode, but I think it's one of the most fun fillery episodes ever. So I really enjoyed it. So, but yeah. Anyway, but I wanted to show you guys this. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I'm sure we're all Bill Burr fans here. But I wanted to get a real time reaction to this. So so this is the thing. I'll put a disclaimer in front of this. This is mean as fuck. Okay, like I'm telling you, this bit is mean as fuck. Like, if you're slightly obese, viewer discretion advised. I mean, I got a little belly myself. I'm not gonna lie to everybody here. But
same here.
Yeah, exactly. Like we all age and shit. But it's all jokes, folks. So we gotta take them as jokes. Remember jokes? Remember in the '80s when we can just say shit. But anyway, so I wanted to get somehow I was gonna try to segue into this better. I'm sure you guys have all seen the.
I love Bill Burr, so
this is from the special where he was in Texas. I don't know, but we'll try to get a real time reaction from this. But this cracked me up this week. I've been watching this on repeat. Just the way he says it is great, but
To the ladies.
Can you hear that?
Body issues. They're always talking about body issues.
A little bit louder, please.
When they talk about Hollywood, going like Hollywood, they create these impossible body images, blah blah blah. You know that whole thing. The plus size actress, right?
A little bit.
Yes.
Still a little
Fatties.
quiet, but I can hear it. Yeah.
You know, that's like a big thing. They're sick of being treated like fat people.
There we go.
I don't know what it is they're doing. They're going on the cover of magazines now, just like showing how fat they are, wearing a little bit amount of clothes. And everybody's like hyping them up, like, oh my God, that's so brave. That's so courageous. I'm not saying it doesn't take balls, but that's a bit of an overreach with the word brave, right? Like, what am I supposed to do if I ever see a fireman running out of a building carrying a baby and an old lady? Am I going to sit there like, oh my God, you're like a fat actress that takes her shirt off to do a magazine shoot to promote the movie she's in?
I love this, but it gets better. It gets better. Here we go.
I know you're not supposed to make fun of fat people. I understand, all right? I don't know why, though. Why? They're not a race. They're not a religion. It's totally curable. Eat an apple and go for a walk, you know? Why are you yelling at everybody else? The fuck are you giving me shit for? All right? You put the cookies in there. I didn't. How is this my problem? Jesus Christ, you ate your way in, you can walk your way out. All right? And just slowly start shedding the pounds. Shove some fucking lettuce in there instead of a bunch of ho-hos. And it's going to come down, and then you're on my side.
This is actually quite motivational. I want to point that out. But
Shame! Shame! Right?
Shame.
I know, you're not supposed to shame. You're not supposed to fat shame. You're not supposed to slut shame. They're like shaming. Like people aren't supposed to walk around with any shame. It's like a legitimate human emotion, but you're not supposed to feel it at all. You know, you're supposed to just walk around like a dictator. You're not going to feel any shame. You never felt shame? You never had such a bad fucking night the next morning? You woke up, you couldn't even look yourself in the mirror. When you went to go brush your teeth, you looked up, you're like, oh, you fucking piece of shit. Wow. Wow, even for you, that was bad. Lights out, curtains drawn, until at least 2 in the afternoon before I can even look at you, you fucking piece of shit.
I've definitely been there, that's for sure. I've definitely
Me today.
No
Me
shame?
today, basically.
That's the new world. You're just going to walk around sucking dick, you know, eating cookies, and just show up, and nobody's supposed to say anything? No one's supposed to have an opinion? Like, wow, that's going to go off the rails pretty soon. I know, it's probably mean to do this stuff, but, like, you can only have so much sympathy. There's so much stuff you can care about. You know what happened to me that changed my life? I did a gig in India, right? Unbelievably great people, but some of the stuff that I saw there, I'll never forget. I did a gig in India. I saw a toddler take a shit between 2 parked cars, walked away, no pants or parents, and then disappeared into the crowd like Hannibal Lecter at the end of Silence of the Lambs. It's one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in my life. And then I come back to my country, and it's like, oh, the studio said I lose 15 pounds to star in a movie. Well, then start running, you fat fuck. That's your big complaint, what? You know what it is? You know what it is about these fatties? You know what it really is? They have no respect for the amount of sacrifice and dedication.
This is true right here, by the way. This is so true.
Magazine level shape, which is you ever try to get abs? You ever try to get all the abs and get that shit down here? You ever try to do it? It's fucking impossible. Past the age of 19, you can't do it without tons of help. You gotta buy all these exercise tapes. You gotta read about nutrition. You gotta get a personal trainer having you fucking running along. You need like your own chef, and he's like, okay, don't eat it yet, don't eat it yet. All right, now, eat it, start consuming it. All right, stop, slow down, stop, spit it out, spit it out. I told you to stop. Get on the elliptical. Now you like that Brussels sprout? Did you like that Brussels sprout? Because now you're paying for it. It's a fucking miserable experience. Just walking around, your whole body's eating yourself. You know, you want some cake? No, just take a salad. Balsamic vinaigrette on the side, no croutons. Oh my God, when is the photo shoot? I want to kill myself. It's horrible. You ever try to get fat? No. You don't have to. It's effortless. You can fucking lay on your back, watching your favorite show, just shoveling shit down your throat. What are you doing? I'm getting fat. I'm getting.
Sammy, you seem incredibly unamused by this bit.
It was all right.
No, I mean,
he's coming.
Right.
He's coming to Milwaukee this year. I want to see him.
Is he? Oh shit, dude! I gotta try to get tickets, man. I
got my Chappelle ticket or my tickets already for Chappelle. So
yeah,
but
dude,
Bill Burr is that's next.
Dude,
and Joe Rogan's coming too, man. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be broke.
Shit,
dude.
man, I gotta go. And I fucking love Rogan and Burr.
Those three are coming. Those are like three of my favorites.
Did you ever hear the Rogan bit about the weed in California?
What about it?
Hold on, I'm gonna try to find this really quick. It's a quick bit. It's not as long as that one, but let's see if I can find it. California weed. Let's see. It's in one of his specials. I'm sure you've heard it before, but no, I mean like Burr and Rogan are one of those people that are like, they're not lying about what they're saying. Like the shit's true. Yeah. It just might not be like in accordance to woke culture or whatever. Right. You know, it's like, but like you can get away with that when you're Rogan or Burr because like
you're a comedian.
You're not lying either. You know, it's like It's like I should by all means take offense to everything Burr was saying there. Like I know I don't have abs. You know what I mean? But it's like on the same hand, it's like it's the truth.
Shame. Shame.
Here we go. Here's the thing. Here's the.
I love pot, but the people that are making edibles need to slow the fuck down. Oh my God, what are you trying to do to people? I had a pot gummy bear the other day. I think we can all agree a gummy bear shouldn't be able to steal your soul. Right? What the fuck are these people making these things, man? They're not consistent. That's also part of the problem. You don't know what you're getting because they're not making them in the same place where they make Tylenol. Not some greasy dude with a Grateful Dead t-shirt on, a gray ponytail. He's got a bowl of ingredients and he can't remember whether or not he put weed in yet. This dude's time traveling, just back and forth and just keep chucking weed in there until it looks like lawn trimmings. You eat it and it's not what you're looking for. It's not regulated. You gotta ask questions. I asked the dude at the pot store, I go, hey man, how strong are the gummy bears? He goes, that's not a unit of measurement. It's like, El Diablo. El Diablo. Oh, man. How much should I take? He goes, just a leg. Just a leg? Why are you selling whole bears? What the fuck are you trying to prove, man? They just watch you leave with that bear. They go, oh shit. They know. They know you're not gonna die. You're gonna think you're gonna die, but everybody lives. Learn some shit. We learn some shit from scary trips. See, the thing about edibles, one of the problems with it being illegal is that a lot of us don't have a lot of information that we could use. Like, there's a difference between smoking it and eating it. When you smoke it, you get THC, but when you eat it, it's processed by your liver, and it produces something called 11-hydroxymetabolite. That's 5 times more psychoactive than THC, and it lets you talk to dolphins. This is a real moment that changed my life. I was in Hawaii, and we were on a boat, and we were fishing. We were pulling these lines behind the boat. And I was so high, I was trying to figure out which way the earth was spinning. Because I'm like, the boat's going this way, and the sun's up there. I'm like, For like 20 minutes, I'm paralyzed. So while this is all happening, these dolphins just show up. And if you've ever been around wild dolphins, they're very trippy. It's very different than you expect. Because they look
Dolphins are fucking scary when you're sober, by the way, so just throwing it out there.
They're like a person, not like a fucking deer or woodchuck. They look at you like another person. Granted, I was so high I thought I was gonna die. But I'm making eye contact with these dolphins and I start thinking, how smart are these fucking things? Because we're fishing. Dolphins eat fish. but you never catch dolphins. Ever. No one has ever gone fishing and accidentally caught a dolphin. And all I could think of while these dolphins are like hopping through the water and looking at us and shit. I was thinking, if people lived in the water, you fucking catch them all day.
It's true.
You wouldn't even have to live in the water if cheeseburgers just floated down Geary Street. At least once a week, a guy would be like, I'm taking a chance. And you see him get yanked up through the clouds. Fuck, we lost Billy. The bottom of his sneakers and a puff of cloud.
Oh man, I love that shit. Samee, what comedians are you watching these days?
I mean, Bo Burnham, obviously.
I know you love Bo. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
We love John Mulaney.
Yeah. No, John Mulaney's a shit. What was that last special that he did? He told the story about the safety officer that came in that cracked me the fuck up. You remember that bit? That was so funny. I do. I can't remember. I don't even think they put it on YouTube, which upsets me because I'd love to pull that up right now. But like, that fucking shit was so funny.
Well, you know, you pull up the Dexter trailer because I just want to make one point.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I just touched on it because, yeah.
For sure. Dexter trailer. We gotta I gotta turn it down and we gotta give comedy on something like this though, or commentary. We gotta give comedy on this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll talk in the background. I just wanted to
okay.
If we're looking up shit.
Is it a line that you need to hear? Because I think we have to mute this to make it work.
Okay, no, you can just mute it.
Okay,
that's cool. I just wanted to talk about it.
All right, here we go.
I thought you could play it.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I haven't seen the show, mind you, so you got to give points that are like for somebody who hasn't seen it. Oh, really quick, I don't think I asked Samee. Samee, have you seen Dexter?
No.
She said no.
Oh,
yeah,
you
she
did?
said
Okay.
she hadn't either.
All right, yeah. Is this something that well, really quick for Samee, is this something that you're going to plan to watch prior?
No.
Really? Okay.
Probably not. No.
Why is that?
It just doesn't really interest me right now. It's a long series, and I don't really have big interest to watch it.
It is a long series. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It's like 8 seasons.
Like I'm good right now.
8 seasons. This is going to be number 9, right?
Something like that.
All right, Cisco.
Yeah,
we're gonna watch the trailer for 2 people who haven't seen the entirety of Dexter, and you sell us on this show. So let's see. All right.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, great. All right, give your commentary.
So we got, I think Michael C. Hall is that guy's name, the actor. He's great as Dexter. I haven't really seen him in anything else to compare, but like to me, he's always gonna be Dexter if I see him in anything else. He's been in like some little cameo parts in movies and stuff, but if you look at this trailer, he has this like small town charm to him that like you would like basically like you would never expect him to be a serial killer. But like the whole reason you watch Dexter is that he is a serial killer, but he only kills killers. Like he only
kills I'm gonna pause this really
criminals.
quick. I have a question. Why did he get nervous when the guy brought a knife up to him? Is he like retired from serial killing at this point in the show?
I don't want to
trying to like give away that life. Is that what's going on?
I don't want to spoil like kind of, but the line he says after that, that's not a spoiler because he was a blood technician. I forget the name. Like he worked with like blood and so that helps him kind of like to circumvent the law, kind of like by working with the law all the time. He kind of has like inside information. But the line when that guy puts the knife on him or whatever, and he's like, why are you so, he asks him that too. He's like, why you all right? Like, why are you so nervous? And then Dexter said, I just have a thing about blood. And it was kind of like a tongue in cheek, like to anyone who's watched the show before, like he's a blood. Yeah. He works with blood.
I'm going to play that part with sound because I want to hear that really quick. Just so I want to hear the reaction.
I thought that was a good line. Yeah. I actually liked that quite a bit.
All right, let's try to do this with sound. This
See there. What is the problem? Yeah, I kind of have a thing about blood.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the dark passenger thing they have in the credits, that's what he would call like his urge to kill. He kind of had like he would call it his dark passenger. Like that's a thing in the show that always like came up where he's like, was I born to kill? Can I control like killing?
Right.
I think they're like still kind of wrestling with that in this too, because it looks like he's kind of like either someone knows. That was always like a thing in every season is like someone would find out and it's like You know what I mean? He has to kind of hide his secret. Sometimes it'd be like police officers, but other times it'd be like people trying to blackmail him, or like he would try and stop a killer, but the killer would be hip to him, and they would like kind of have like duke it out in certain seasons, like those two. So I mean, it was consistently like really good and like pretty like thrilling, I would say, for most of it. It was just the last 2 seasons were really, they didn't know how to end it well at all. And so like my whole point I wanted to make is why I told you to play it is just like, because I know fans are like kind of nervous, and my whole thing is they ended it so bad that I do think that they can kind of redeem themselves with this. From the trailer, it looks good. It actually looks like they can kind of fix some of the mistakes they made in the finale, especially, but even with those last 2 seasons, and kind of make it's Showtime again. It was a Showtime show. You got the main character back. That's pretty much all you need. And I think you saw Clancy Brown in there. He's a good actor. He was in Promising Young Woman. Yeah. And there you go. Yeah, RoboCop. And so, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be like kind of what I wanted from the finale. It's almost like a soft reboot finale almost. Because where they ended it, I wasn't a fan, and I know it left a lot of people with a sour taste in their mouth, but I'm looking at it kind of with the glass half full of like, I think they can kind of fix it a little bit. Which I know people wanted them to fix Game of Thrones or whatever, and that's never going to happen. I think this is actually like the closest attempt we'll get to like a bad finale. So.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, my question too, and we do have to wrap up here pretty soon. But my question too is, okay, so have you ever seen Mr. Brooks?
No, it's the one with Kevin Costner, right?
Brilliant film. It's Kevin Costner and Dan Cook are the actors.
Okay, I remember the trailers, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I know it's surprising to say Dan Cook's in that movie. He really,
I know. I was like, wait, what?
He's really good in the movie, though. Like honestly, like he's really good. The movie's brilliant. If you haven't seen it, I always thought that would be like, or when a Dexter came out, I always kind of looked at Mr. Brooks as the crux for Dexter. You know, like kind of inspired it. So I don't know. You can confirm or deny. So in Mr. Brooks, because I think much like Dexter, and again, I've only seen like maybe even, I don't even think I finished the first season. Nothing to do with the quality of the show.
First season's really good too.
Nothing to do with the quality of the show. I just don't think it was. It was just one I dropped off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, so Mr. Brooks is a serial killer who's very calculated, much like Dexter. Dexter's very calculated about the way he does serial. You know, he's a serial killer. So my question is Dexter kind of like, as the show goes on, does he become more, let's say, hesitant to be a serial killer?
Yeah,
because Mr. Brooks
that's like a whole thing, because he is like he's the protagonist, so he does show like remorse, but that's like a constant issue because like sociopaths are incapable of showing emotion, but he has like girlfriends in the show and stuff, and he like makes an effort to try and make friends and like girlfriends, but it's like it's hard for him kind of, because it's like he's not supposed to, anytime you let emotion in and you're a killer, like that's where you make mistakes, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, does he want to be a better killer, or does he want to actually like blend in and be like a regular person? Like that's like kind of the crux of the show, honestly.
No, because I mean, like, Mr. Brooks, like, one of my favorite things. By the way, I think Mr. Brooks is Kevin Costner's best performance. Just throwing that out there. I think he's incredible as that character. I always wanted to see a sequel because it kind of left it open for that. But I think it's the role he was born to play. But like, there's parts in there like Kevin Costner, and this is toward the beginning of the movie, so I'm not really spoiling anything by saying this. Is the fact that like there's parts in there where he'll literally be crying because he feels bad about the murder he just committed, you know what I mean? Which I think are the coolest villains, you know what I mean, or the coolest like type. That's the coolest way to dive into a serial killer, is one you can sympathize with. They show a little remorse. There's a normal side to them. So that's cool to see here that Dexter's like that. I don't know, Samee, you sold on this?
I mean, not right.
It's okay
now.
If you're not. It's okay if you're not. I'm just trying to sell. I'm appealing to the people, to the crowd, and to people that are fans and like are not even giving this a chance. I'm like, it's dude, like if you're a fan of Dexter, like this is great news. You get Dexter back. You get Dexter back in a better ending.
And I love that for you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, no, I mean, I just love that concept, and you've kind of sold me on a little bit, Cisco. Like, I was trying to figure out like if I should check it out now.
Maybe maybe do the first season again, because that was, to me, I was surprised too, because I think one of my coworkers at the time or something like had recommended it. I was kind of where you were at, where I was like, I don't know, because I came onto it late too. And then I think the first, like I like the pilot. The pilot's really good, and then the first season like really like draws you into that, where it's like, is he a hero even though he kills? Like, can you be a good person? You know what I mean? Like you're like, should I root for this guy or should I not? Like, it's I liked all that stuff, and I think they do like a good job of doing that for the most part. It's just those last couple seasons.
Right. No, I mean, my buddy told me
6 seasons, 6 consistent good seasons. That's pretty good for a show.
That's interesting. My friend told me the first 4 are good, the last 4 are bad. One of my best friends ever told me that. I don't know. So the fact that you like
I don't know. To me, it was only the last 2 where I noticed the drop off, a really good, like bad drop off.
I had a coworker tell me that too, where the first 4 are good and the last 2 are bad. But
maybe they're the best though. Maybe the best 4, or the first 4. So
Sammy, you good over there?
I'm good. Yeah.
You sure?
You good? Yeah, I'm good.
All right, you just seem off. I don't know. Like
I'm very tired. Okay. I know.
No, I don't know.
I'm very tired.
Was like
I'm yawning.
I'm
good.
No, it's you're fine. You just seem more energetic toward the beginning, and now you're like.
We're losing steam.
That hour. Maybe we should head out.
No. We're past time, so we're good. We'll wrap it up here. No problem. Anyway, guys. Thank you everybody for joining. Again, we got to get back into sync. On this whole shit. Like, I know the channel's been out of sync, but with the new tech we got going on, I'm very excited to keep doing it. And it's just, it's been so much fun, guys. So thank you so much for joining. I really mean that. And Cisco, where can people find you before we go?
All right, Rampage_Misfit for Twitter, Misfit_Minded on my movie pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on Stereo. You can find my show on there, Saturday Matinee.
Check
this
it out,
week,
boys.
we're continuing our De Palma series with Obsession is this week's, if you want to get prepared for that talk. And then for our double feature, we got a blind spot for me. I know you can give me shit for it, but Monty Python and the Holy Grail is one of the movies.
Me too.
Okay, so maybe you can watch along too then. And then the next.
You guys have never seen that?
I haven't.
Right,
Edwin has.
Same as me. No, I know.
Edwin's been giving me shit for it, so I'm like, you know what? We couldn't think of anything else to pair with The Green Knight this week, so I was like, it's a medieval knight story.
Right.
It's a comedy though, but like, you know what? I've always heard that's like the best of those guys. So
you gotta throw Men in Tights in there also.
I'm excited for that. And then of course we do a movie buffs show every Friday. And this week's we're watching Everly, which is on Shudder. If you have Shudder, it's a Salma Hayek movie directed by Joe Lynch, who I'm a pretty big fan of. He did Mayhem. He's like kind of a horror action director. So I'm excited to watch that. And then for Saturday Matinee, I forgot, so you can catch that at Sat Matinee Pod everywhere too. And then I got something I can't talk about yet, but it's in the works, and I will plug it when I get closer to that. And then Fantasia Fest is coming up soon, and there's more than a good chance I'm going to be covering that with Edwin and a couple guys. So it's like a horror movie festival, I guess genre, sci-fi horror, that type of stuff. So look out for that too. That'll be on AshevilleMovies.com. So that's everything. Yeah. That's all I got.
Real quick, dude, I know how you feel. I got something in the works I can't talk about
yet. Yeah.
It's like I'm ever so close to being able to talk about it.
I'm really close. Close, but
it's hard to inch closer to those types of things. But like the thing I'm working on, guys, trust me, you're not even gonna know what hit you. It's just gonna come out of nowhere. You're gonna be like, oh fuck, he did that.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, Sammy, where can people find you before we go?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at Samee Ramirez 14, on Twitter and Stereo at Samee Ramirez. And then, I hosted Movie Night every Monday here on the Anorak Entertainment Podcast. Yeah, that's it. Not much else.
Sick. And I'm excited to get back to Movie Night next week with Jungle Cruise. I mean, I'm looking forward to this in the sense that I don't know how it's going to be. It could be one of those that really, really suck. I'm hoping for great things. One of my most anticipated things to do every week is movie night with Samee Ramirez, guys. So make sure you check that out. I just have fun.
Green Knight. Green Knight's A24 too. I just thought of that.
Right.
Speaking
of
A24, that comes out this weekend too. So
yeah, I meant to mention that when we were talking about the lamb and all that shit, but yeah, I missed it. It's all right. Anyway, yeah, guys, you can follow me at Dom_Martino_ at Anorak. Make sure you go check out the Twitter there, and then on Instagram, Dom_Martino_ official, Anorak's official on Instagram. Also, we are on Spotify now, as Samee was trying to tell y'all in the middle of the show.
Yes.
But make sure you guys go follow us there. It's all on the screen now. I hope you guys did pick up the hint. And then, yeah, we do have merch now, guys. I know we don't talk about this a whole lot anymore these days, but if you want to go check it out, it's at the bottom there on the bottom right. Merch.streamelements.com/Anorax. And then under that, you can see that we do have a spot where you can send tips. If you want to talk to us on stereo, again, we're always available there. But if you want to send a tip, it would be very kind of you. And you can have your messages read out on video or podcast form. Streamelements.com/Anorax/tip. Thank you guys for joining again. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends. Hit that bell for notifications. It's always embarrassing when you belch in the middle of that. Hit that notification. Hit that bell for notifications. Thank you guys so much for joining. I've been Dom Martino, Samee Ramirez. I want to thank you, Cisco Scartozzi. I want to thank you very much as well. And we will get out of here now, folks. Thank you very much. Later.
Shout out to Cox.